More people can join us for the Walk Run Festival with music by Liquid Pleasure, all at the Angus Barn on Sunday, October 13th. Go to walkforhope.com to sign up now.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Did you know that most of your home's cold AC this summer leaked out through your old windows? Save money year-round with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends September 30th, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text Rocky to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ROCKY to 42424. That's Rocky to 42424.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back. Stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Look, I know the contract's good. It gives the Hurricanes an additional $500,000 more per year in cap space. But the best part about this deal is that Seth's here for the next 8 years. And if all goes well, he'll be here for the following 8 years as well, because he's headed to market again when he's just 30, and he should be at the height of his powers. Great deal for both sides, and we are lucky to have Jarvie in town.
And we'll have Jarvie playing at the Lenovo Center the next 8 years. That's official.
I know, that's a change.
A little bit different than PNC. By the way, should we call it the... I like the Vo as a nickname.
It needs a nickname.
Some people, the Lenny.
Yeah. I don't want to do the Lenovo Center.
Yeah, I know. We got to come with a good name. The TLC or the LC.
Something, anything.
I mean, there's a few different options. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always. It's official. And kind of going based off the open there of Adam talking about the Seth Jarvis deal. It's official. PNC Arena is now the Lenovo Center. Now, this was kind of leaked by a promo video in EA Sports NHL 25, the video game that's set to drop next month. They had a little, the teaser trailer and all that kind of stuff, and it showed the Canes playing against the Ottawa Senators at home, and the ice said the Lenovo Center.
Yeah.
So that's really what tipped it off. And then sure enough, the Canes and the CEO for the Canes had some media availability yesterday, and they were trying to cover up the signs, but then kind of got windy, and it's like, yeah, that says Lenovo. So
I see it.
Worst kept secret, but it's official now. The Canes announced it today. That is officially the Lenovo Center. We'll dive into that. We'll come with a fun nickname for it, Victoria.
I know.
Today.
Lenko. I don't know. We'll think of something.
Oh, Lenko?
Right? Change it up, maybe? Lenko? I like it. The Lenko. I don't know.
What's the co come in?
I don't know. I was going to say, Lenovo Center, and I just added the co because, it reminded me of, candy. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll be sweet. Who knows? We'll have to think on it.
Be sweet if the Canes hoist a cup in the Lenovo Center
be
this coming year. That'd be very sweet. It'd also be very sweet if the Carolina Panthers looked competent this Sunday.
Oh, whoa, that is asking.
Let's go ahead and get things started. So I host a podcast, which, by the way, you can check out the podcast. It's called Panthers Playbook. It's myself, Chris Lee from WREL TV. We're both based here in Raleigh. It's on, you can get it anywhere you get your podcasts. It's also available on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. Chris and I host a podcast together. It's on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page. You can go comment there. You can also go on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page right now and watch the show live and leave comments live. And we had a new episode that dropped this morning, and as Chris and I were recording the episode last night, Chris had mentioned how Bryce Young in his past over at Alabama, even in high school at Mater Dei High School, certainly was accomplished. You don't become the number one quarterback recruit in the country for, being just average. You don't become a Heisman Trophy winner in college for just being average. He accomplished things at these places. Not trying to take those things away. That's high school, that's college. NFL obviously is different. And he mentioned about how, Bryce had resources at these places, right? Mater Dei High School, tons of D1 talent around. Alabama, that speaks for itself, right? He's gotten to the Carolina Panthers, and this is the first time in his life where he hasn't had the dudes around him. That's the first time in his life. I say, you know what Bryce Young is? He's tofu.
Dudeless.
He's tofu. So here's people don't know what tofu, if you've ever eaten tofu absorbs the flavor of whatever it's in. That's the thing about tofu. Tofu doesn't have any flavor in and of itself. It just absorbs and takes on the flavor of anything that's around it. That's what Bryce Young might be. I think that's actually what Bryce Young is. Now here's the thing. If everything around him is good, then he can be good. If the flavors around him are right, then he himself can be right. But herein lies the problem. You don't give up 2 firsts and 2 seconds and your top wide receiver for tofu.
You shouldn't.
You don't do it for tofu. You do it for the prime rib. You do it for the filet. You do it for whatever cut you want.
I love a filet.
You don't want to give it up for tofu. You don't want to give it up for something flavorless where everything around it has to be good in order for that to be somewhat okay. You want the person that you traded up for, to be the main part of the dish, the main part of the order. Everything else is garnishments and sides. And this is something that the top-level quarterbacks, now here's the thing. There aren't many of those around. There aren't many. There are obviously this Mahomes, it's Josh Allen, it's Lamar Jackson. It's those level guys where you can put anything around them, and guess what? You still got that prime cut. That's what it is. That's what I said. That's why I compared it. Said Bryce Young is tofu. And you don't give up all those assets to just have that. And that's the problem right now with Bryce Young, and that's what a lot of the fans are seeing. That's what we're seeing when we go to the comment section on all the stuff that we post online or people that respond to us on Twitter. That is the sentiment we get. It's no, this isn't the guy. Everything shouldn't have to be perfect around him. It's one thing if he was in a bad situation, but he still showed those glimmers of hope, and you showed the arm strength, you still showed the accuracy, you still showed the acumen for the game. Much like Trevor Lawrence, his first year in Jacksonville. Terrible situation with Urban Meyer as his head coach, but you saw what he was capable of doing. Now, there's still some questions, and he's still developing as a QB. Some people have their doubts. That's totally understandable, but at least you saw those flashes, right? You could be a great player in a bad situation, and people can still recognize it. Your situation around you is always going to evolve and change. That's one of the questions I remember people had with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City was, he's lost all these great receivers. He's lost Tyreek Hill, and then all these other guys are gone. All the speed on the outside's gone. Well, he adapted.
He did.
He adapted. That's what he did. The offensive line for a while, was terrible in front of him. Guess what? He adapted. Then the offensive line got better than receivers lessened. Still adapted. That's what the best ones do. Everything should not have to be great around you if you're to be a franchise changer. Now, he's still got tons of time, I would say. At least as this season to figure it out. At least to prove that he can do it.
I hope so.
He has to.
I don't want them to break in.
Absolutely has to, because if he doesn't, it'll go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history.
Yeah.
100% will. And it doesn't help The guy that went 2 that you passed on, C.J. Stroud, had just one of the best rookie seasons ever in NFL history.
Balling out.
And shows no sign of slowing down. Like, he looks like one of those guys that's going to be a top-level quarterback in the NFL for years to come. It doesn't help. It doesn't help that Anthony Richardson, I know he got hurt, had the shoulder injury last year, only played in 4 games, but you still see the arm strength. You see the physical abilities, and you see the wow plays, and you're like, all right, you are far from perfect, but there's something there. There's something there. Yeah, he only completed 9 passes. I think it was 9-19 on Sunday, but it was for over 200 yards. I think it was like 224 yards and 9 completions. And some of the completions he had were just straight, I'm kind of falling off my back foot because I slipped here, and I still launched it 50 yards down the field for a touchdown. Like, you saw that. Then also, doesn't help that, now granted, their situations around them got better in terms of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Those 2 guys have really good weekends. So that's the thing, that we look and see what could have been or what was, and then what we have now in terms of what the Panthers have at QB. Now, again, he can go out there and just start lighting him up. Maybe the switch flips, week 3.
I hope so.
I mean, I hope so too, because the reason why I hope it does work is because I don't want to be going back through all this all over again. I don't. But in the NFL, they've shown in recent years, they're not afraid to move on from you super quick. Zach Wilson, 2 years, Jets as a top 3 pick, gone.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh, 2 years, first-round pick, gone. They traded him away. Justin Fields, the guy who's now the Steelers
Starter.
quarterback. 3 years there. Nope, gone. We got something else. Josh Rosen, 1 year, top 10 pick, 1 year in Arizona. Gone. We got Kyler Murray. Teams aren't afraid to do it. Hey, you know what? We'll eat the loss and we'll move on.
I mean, it always stinks to rebuild, but to rebuild right now when we have nothing to is just like insult to injury. It's like salt in the wound. That's why it's so discouraging. Like, it is so disheartening to think about having to start over after we gave so much.
So this is where I say, Bryce Young, you can't be tofu. You can't be tofu. You can't just take on what's around you because, we all know what was around you last year wasn't great. It stunk. Your offensive line was a revolving door. Like, I don't know, you started, 11 guards last season. Ike Ekwonu didn't play well. I mean, your best receiver was Adam Thielen. He was good. Like, he was really good last season. But outside of that, you didn't have much of anything. The free agents that you brought in, none of that worked. The coaching staff just did not work. I mean, I know Chris Lee actually pointed this out to me in Panthers Playbook yesterday. He's like, did you notice how after Frank Reich got left go, that Bryce's numbers outside of that Green Bay game, which was kind of the anomaly, the numbers went down even further?
Yeah, that's not
good. It's like,
not good.
What did Frank Reich know?
Yeah, right.
What did Frank Reich know? So that's where we are, and we're only in week 2. I hope that Bryce does turn it around. For his sake and for the Panthers' sake.
Yeah, this is just going to be a long season if we don't get something going.
And I think that Panthers fans, Victoria, you can probably say this. I know I've said it. I'm sure Panthers fans can say it. Like, you know what? As long we can handle some losses this season, but as long as we see growth and progress, right?
Yeah, that's all I want.
That's what we want.
Is progression.
I've said this team, I thought going into the year, was a 5 or 6 win team. Like, that's still not good. That's still going to be a top 10 pick. Heck, it might even be a top 5 pick. But still, you wanted to see progress, right? And then you're like, week 1, that's what you got.
Right. Well, and you hope to see progress because we literally shut it all down. We wiped it clean. We did the Etch-a-Sketch and basically cleaned everything except the one corner that had Bryce Young because he's our dude. And then here we are. It's like it's broken. It won't even twirl anymore.
Just the one dial just won't turn.
Yeah, it's stuck.
I've been there. I
know, it's rough.
Speaking of rough, conference realignment is back, folks. It was announced today. It was actually reported by The Athletic like overnight. They learned about this. The conference realignment is back, folks. Pac-12 not dead?
Uh-oh.
Pac-12 not dead?
What?
Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Colorado State are joining Oregon State and Washington State in the Pac-12 starting in the 2026-2027 academic year.
Look at that.
So 2 years from now, like, wait a second, there's life.
Uh-oh.
We have a pulse.
There's a
in
heartbeat.
The Pac-12. Now, Mountain West, which is those 4 schools that I had mentioned, are all leaving. The Mountain West had an agreement where, at least for this season, where Oregon State and Washington State would basically play a mixture of Mountain West teams this year to kind of fill the schedule for those 2 schools, the Pac-2.
Mm-hmm.
That agreement was supposed to be renewed probably like a couple weeks ago. Like, hey, we're going to renew this for 2025. That agreement was not renewed between Washington State, Oregon State, and the Mountain West schools. Well, I guess they're just like, you know what? Fine. You're just going to come join us. How about that? Oh, you don't want to agree with us, Mountain West? We'll just take your schools.
Mm-hmm.
I find this odd.
Yeah.
I find this really odd because I'm also curious as to, all right, where else are you going to get schools from? Because with the NCAA, you need to get to 8, especially for college football playoff implications. You need to have 8 schools, conference, win. If you're a conference champ, the top 5 rated conference champions make it to the college football playoff. So there's a lot on the line in that regard. Okay, you need to find a couple more. I would not be shocked if we hear about those in the coming days. Just would not surprise me. I did a little research, Victoria.
Okay.
Since Texas and Oklahoma announced in July of 2021 that they'd be leaving the Big 12 for the SEC, I remember being in Charlotte for ACC football media days when this news dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, whoa, wait. It's like, wait, hold on, what?
Because
it came out of nowhere, much like this Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Colorado State. All kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, well, wait a second. Wait, hold on. They're going to the SEC? How was this able to happen? And then that's what people started questioning. Like, wait, what about the ACC schools? Like, is the ACC are they going to get poached? You know, like, how is the Big 12 going to let their 2 top products go? Nonetheless, basically in the 3 years since that was announced, 32 schools that play FBS football have changed conferences.
Oh, wow.
32.
Wow.
And I'm including James Madison. They moved up from FCS. They're in the Sun Belt now. So they play app in the schools like that. So I include them in that because, well, that they're in that now.
Mm-hmm.
But even you look at next year, Delaware is doing the same thing that James Madison did. They're moving up from FCS, the CAA, to Conference USA. UMass is going from A10, the Atlantic 10, they're football independent. They're going to the MAC. And then Missouri State, they're moving from the Missouri Valley Conference in their FCS school, and they're also going up to Conference USA because, well, over the last few years, let's say a lot of Conference USA schools have left, which is kind of weird.
Oh, boy.
Like Marshall, Old Dominion, Southern Miss, all left Conference USA in 2022 to go to the Sun Belt. Charlotte was a Conference USA school. They went to the American. Same with Florida Atlantic. They left the Conference USA to go to the American. North Texas, Rice, UAB, Texas San Antonio. They all left Conference USA to go to the American, which features ECU. And again, now features Charlotte. So that impacts the state of North Carolina and schools within it. So you're seeing a lot of schools now going to Conference USA, like Sam Houston went from the WAC to Conference USA. And a lot of these schools are moving around quite a bit. Kennesaw State, by the way, another FCS school this year, moved from FCS. They were in the Atlantic Sun. They went to Conference USA, so they moved up.
Wow.
As well. So we're seeing schools move up to supplement conferences that are getting poached and moved away.
Mm-hmm.
But if you factor in 3 schools next year, Delaware, UMass, Missouri State, and then the 4 schools moving from the Mountain West that we mentioned earlier, Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, San Diego State, you're looking at in a 4-year span, 39 schools.
It's a lot.
39 out of about, 135 FBS schools? I mean, literally, wow. We're about to hit 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
1/3 of FBS schools have changed conferences in like a 4-year stretch.
That's saying something.
That is insane. And you know what else it is? Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So dumb. So dumb. So dumb, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Everyone's chasing the dollar. I understand. Everyone's trying to protect themselves because no one knows truly what college sports is going to look like in a few years. Heck, I'm sure Adam talked about it. The NCAA settlement, that the conferences and had agreed upon with former athletes about over name, image, and likeness. A judge said, might not actually, we might not approve this settlement. So now you're looking at possibly going to court as opposed to having the settlement. So who knows what it's all going to look like, but everyone's just trying to cover their tail. So who knows what the Mountain West is going to do? Are they going to pull up FCS schools? Are they going to pull the schools from Conference USA who's already been poached enough?
Yeah.
What are you going to try to do? Are you going to pull like the West Coast Conference that has Gonzaga and St. Mary's?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's just it'll look different in a couple years, and then a couple years from that, it'll probably look different again, and then it's just going to keep evolving.
It's just constantly changing. It's constantly changing. I know I said this when I sat in for Adam about a couple months ago. Maybe it was a month ago. That I feel like what we're going to see is as a way to work around the grant of rights for all these conferences is that eventually you're going to see the power schools, the power conferences, separate football from their media rights and sell it like the NFL does.
Yeah.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Like Big Ten, SEC, ACC, if they get a chance to get more money that way.
Well, that's what matters.
But also as well, if you separate, then you can revenue share. I mean, no one knows fully what you're going to be able to do because you got a bunch of different states that have different laws, public versus private schools. It's all one big mess.
It's
all
very
one
messy.
Big mess, and I don't like it. But schools that we mentioned, like East Carolina,
right?
I'm looking forward to. This is my game of the weekend, by the way.
Oh yeah, the App State.
App State at ECU. I am so pumped for this matchup.
Me
You're like,
too.
it's two FBS schools, like Group of 5 schools. Like what's the big deal? I love this for the state of North Carolina.
Yeah,
I know
it's
Mike
huge.
Houston actually said this earlier this week. I think it's great for the state. Victoria, you're an App grad. How excited are you for the Mountaineers coming down the mountain? Heading out to Greenville.
Leaving that garbage that was up there from the last football game. Yes, I want them.
Well, they left that in South Carolina.
I know,
which is
but
fine.
they need to get their stuff together as they travel down the state. No, I'm very excited because I also feel like the fan bases are similar too, like the grads and the students there, on different ends of the state. It's just so fun to come together and just duel it out. So I'm very excited. These are always super fun games.
I'm pumped for it. I know ECU started off strong. They've got 2 wins. They went on the road against Old Dominion and won last week, 20-14. App that you mentioned, to quote you, Victoria, barf.
Yeah.
Barf.
Oh,
It's
big
just,
barf.
I mean, you caught Clemson at the wrong time because Clemson had the embarrassing loss against Georgia, and Clemson saw Florida State fall over themselves in their quote-unquote bounce-back game against Boston College.
Yeah.
And they went, we can't let that happen to us. And then, unfortunately, they took it out on App State.
Right. They brought their relationship baggage to App State, and we had to deal with it.
Aguilar, the quarterback at App, preseason player of the year for the Sun Belt, preseason offensive player of the year. I think this is a turnaround get right game, but you got to right the ship if you're App.
Yeah.
Going to ECU. I'm going to be there.
Oh,
this
good.
is actually one of the games that I circled at the beginning of the year. I'm like, I have to get to this one.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, the fan bases are passionate and strong. Super passionate, strong. They love their football, and football is like the main sport at these schools.
Yes.
So I know the perception, all that with Carolina State and Duke. Your basketball schools, right? Your basketball schools. Not that you can't be good at both, because you can be, but that's the perception. Whereas ECU, App, you're known for your football. And your culture and everything that goes around it. And I think this is actually one of the fun things I actually appreciate about this game is I think it's going to be such a blend of the culture that we have in the state of North Carolina. Not just from, obviously, college sports is such a massive thing in this state, but eastern part of the state, western part of the state, meeting together once again. I know ECU went up to Kid Brewer last year.
Yeah.
Now it's vice versa. I hope this game is something that we see every single year.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for the state. I think it's also good for, if you're recruiting players in the state of North Carolina, which we know ECU and App do, it's like, hey, look, we're going to be, if, for example, you're trying to recruit a kid from J.H. Rose High School, which is out there in the Greenville area. But if you're App State and your head coach, Sean Clark, be like, hey, look, we're coming home every other year. We're going to be here. And you're still relatively close out to Boone. We're going to be close. We'll try and play Charlotte every year, possibly.
Yeah.
You're going to be super close. Or vice versa. If you're Mike Houston out there in Greenville and you're trying to recruit a kid from AC Reynolds, out in the Asheville area, hey, we're coming to your area like every other year. So you basically have like a home game.
Yeah.
But also, hey, you're not too far from here as well. I think those kinds of things are really great for the state. I think it's really good for these programs. And also you're keeping the money in state too.
Yeah. Well, and it'll make for a good atmosphere too, because since they're both in the same state, people can travel just a few hours one direction or another.
I think it's wonderful.
So, yeah, I'm excited for it.
I know there's possibly going to be some rain there on Saturday.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Ain't going to slow them down. It ain't going to slow them down, Victoria. You know this.
Nope, not at all. Just break out the ponchos.
I really am super stoked for this game. It was one of the few games I was like, I have to get to that one.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to go to the App ECU game in Kid Brew last year. I think this game is going to be fun for the state. And by the way, Tim Donnelly, our co-worker here at where we work here at 99.9 The Fan, he hosts on the afternoon show. He's filled in hosting on this show before. But he said, he pointed this out, is that all 7 FBS schools in the state of North Carolina are playing in the state of North Carolina this weekend.
Oh, fun.
UNC's at home against NC Central. We also have NC State at home against Louisiana Tech. Duke is at home. Charlotte's playing at home. And then App is traveling out to ECU.
Yeah, so they're staying in the state.
So everyone's in the state, which I think is super cool. Love it.
I know.
Absolutely love it. All right, final thing here real fast. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Again, PNC Arena, officially now the Lenovo Center.
Yep.
I mean, that doesn't change anything that we do, but the name change also comes the same week that we saw the renderings. I know Brian Murphy was on the show yesterday with Adam Gold talking about the different renderings and changings that we're going to see around the arena. I just want a cool nickname for Lenovo Center.
Yeah.
Like PNC, you can call it the bank because PNC is a bank, but the Lenovo Center, I call it the LC.
Yeah.
I kind of like the VO.
Yeah.
I think the VO kind of has a cool ring to it.
I know. I was going to say the Nove.
The Nove? Oh,
maybe.
the Nove?
Like, change it up a little.
The Nove?
Let's go to the Nove.
Okay, so I was like, hey, big game tonight at the VO. Like, hey, Rangers are in town. Let's go to the VO.
Yeah.
The Novo, I've heard people throw that one out.
Yeah.
But the Nove, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
TLC.
Yeah.
The Lenovo Center. Hey, little TLC. Let's go just go to
Googling
the
might
LC.
get a little weird, though, because then you're going to get waterfalls everywhere.
I know. Hey, no scrubs for the TLC. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly.
Don't want no scrubs.
No scrubs. No time for that.
Don't want no scrubs. By the way, Canes Prospects into town. The Canes Prospect stuff all starts tomorrow. They got to go out to Nashville.
Crazy.
I have a feeling one of the rookies is going to be in the opening night lineup.
Yeah.
I'm calling my shot.
Yeah.
Felix Unger-Sorum.
Okay.
Calling my shot.
I like to see it. I want to see what they got.
Let's see it. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria is producing the show as always. Now, when we mentioned it earlier, it was a rough day for Bryce Young on Sunday. We all know that. How do you bounce back? Hey, head coach Dave Canales, your first time experiencing it. How do you bounce back? We discussed that in 4 minutes.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're serving up some fresh AFC action.
Here we go. Woo!
It's Buffalo and Miami.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
Pregame starts at 7:30.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
We came here for one thing, to win.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
We are headed towards week 2 of the NFL, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is continuing this special offer to keep us watching more. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That's right, all FanDuel customers. You don't have to be a new customer. And then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. And all you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel at any time. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Download America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for president.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use 2 screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch 2 games at the same time.
A lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Let's hope the Carolina Panthers can bounce back.
Please and
or
thank
actually,
you.
at least bounce.
In the good direction.
In any direction. I think they just kind of fell flat this past Sunday. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold, Victoria producing the show today. This is where Dave Canales, the first-year head coach, is really going to be super tested because I know we've talked about how, again, earlier, how Bryce Young, his struggles, that's been a compounding thing since we saw last year. Defense was not very good, and it doesn't help that your best player, Derek Brown, is gone. But this is where Dave Canales, the head coach, is really going to get tested. He even acknowledged after the game, and even his day after press conference on Monday, that, when you fell behind 17-0 with, just a few minutes left in the first quarter, your game plan, everything that you thought that you wanted to do, that you're trying to set up to do things later in the game, out the window. It kind of just goes out the window because here's something that what coaches and play callers, what they want to do during the course of the game is that generally what you see a lot of coaches do, like they'll script anywhere from like 10 to 15 plays. We want to run these 10 to 15 plays early in the game, see how the defense is playing us. We can have some different run action that later in the game we can use that to run play action, show one thing early on in the game, see how the defense is reacting, maybe get them to bite on something, and then we have something to kind of counter it, right? That's all part of it. It's the game within the game. When you fall behind 17-0, all that kind of goes out the window just because you're playing catch-up. So you lose your rhythm, everything that you planned. It also doesn't help that your quarterback throws an interception on the very first play. So, right, Dave Canales, the big question is for you, how do you handle this?
Yeah, it's a weekly thing, right? So whether you win or lose, you got to flush it. You got to move on. Here comes the next opponent. We happen to have the Chargers, a fantastic opponent that's going to test our toughness. They're going to test our play style. It's a version of football that I love, and I know Coach Harbaugh is going to have that mentality. So just like last week tested us in a lot of ways, we got another big one coming up. So the guys just have to have that mentality. When we come into the building, it's all about the preparation of the new opponent, and that takes care of it. We don't have enough energy to be focusing on things in the past. We got to focus on today, and I thought the guys captured a good Wednesday.
Okay, so that was yesterday. Dave Canales at his press conference after yesterday's practice. And the brand of football that is going to test the Panthers by Jim Harbaugh is a physical style of football that Dave Canales wants to have. I mean, the edges are really going to be tested. We're going to break down more of the game a little bit later on, but there's a reason why that they drafted Joe Alt from the tackle from Notre Dame, and they already have Rashawn Slater. I'm like, yeah, bookend solid tackles for the next 10 years on your team that can not only pass protect, but also can maul people. And then also on the opposite side, on the defensive side, they still have Khalil Mack. I know he's on the back nine of his career, but still effective. And, one of the best edge rushers in Joey Bosa. Like, that's where they're built, is up front. That is, you expect to see that, and it doesn't help that Carolina loses their best defensive player, but also has no one on the edge opposite of Jadeveon Clowney. Like, a weak point versus a strength on both sides of the ball for the Carolina Panthers. But this is where Dave Canales and his coaching comes in terms of how does he mentally handle this. I actually thought it was good of him after the game that he didn't show panic, because as a head coach, this is something I learned. I coached 9 years of college lacrosse. Your players are going to react to how you react.
Yeah, it's like the little kid that falls and scuds their knee. If the parent doesn't react, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And you're just like, oh, come on, buddy, let's go.
Say, you got it. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. Like, the kid looks at him like, is everything okay?
Should I react? Oh, okay, no, I'm good. Okay, good.
But this is something that I learned as a coach, and especially when I became a head coach, is that if your team falls behind like crazy and you start panicking and freaking out, your team's going to see you do that, and they're going to start to get skittish themselves. Like, oh, coach is freaking out? Oh, that's not good. Coach is freaking out because he's supposed to keep me calm, but if he's not calm, how can he keep me calm? How can I stay calm if he's not calm? Not saying that you can't be, aggressive or anything along those lines, but you got to be stoic to an extent. You can't lose your personality and your identity just because things go bad. Because if you're erratic, that's when things get really unstable and volatile. And that's the last thing that you really need to have. So I thought Dave Canales, he's like, hey, look, whether you win or whether you lose, you're on to the next week. Doesn't matter if you lose by 1 or, in this case, 37. A loss is a loss, which he's not wrong in that regard. He's not. And he's like, he can still sit there and show the tape, and guys like, hey, look, we got embarrassed because we didn't do all these small things that we've coached in practice, like this little stuff right here, details with footwork. I mean, he even said, he used his word, footwork, hand placement, leverage, all these kinds of things, like focusing on those basics and all that kind of stuff that they're building their core principles around. Hey, guys, we didn't do it well enough. Here's things we didn't do well. You can show it, and this is the result we're going to get. We're going to emphasize these details again. You are capable, but you got to do it, though. Yeah. You could still have that in your meeting rooms and all that stuff, but whether you win or lose, you still got to go on to the next game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. You can't dwell on the past. No. You got to focus on going forward. And something that, I hope it doesn't happen in week 1 with a professional sports team, but Dave Canales said, you know what, team, they didn't quit.
We're not going to quit. We're never going to quit. And that's what I challenged the guys, the players, and that's the character of this team. They didn't quit. We kept playing hard, kept hunting, kept trying the whole time. And so just learned about just connecting with the guys and being able to, on game day, to feel that the challenge of that day, the discipline to continue to go forward. And again, it just bleeds right over into the character of this team as we approach this week to bring that kind of mentality every day.
The big question is, if that happens again, how quickly do things unravel? Like, this is really your test as a coach, is how well you can keep your team together and continuing to play together when things aren't going well. Because we saw last year when things didn't go well, we saw even Brian Burns, as much as Carolina Panthers fans love Brian Burns, he even admitted himself, because he was trying to get a new contract. He was on the last year of a deal. He took some plays off.
Yeah.
Like he said, like he took some plays off.
Makes sense.
Which I get it. He's trying to protect himself. But again, that's when people start going into business for themselves.
Right.
I mean, look, for example, like a guy like Deontay Johnson. I'm not trying to say negative things on Deontay Johnson, but Deontay Johnson's on the last year of his contract. And he understands that he had a little bit of a bad reputation in Pittsburgh his last couple of years. But he's also probably thinking is that, well, I have to look out for my future. If I'm not getting the ball the way I need to, that's going to impact what I can get in terms of my next contract. That's when things can kind of be like, hey, I need the ball thrown my way more, so I need to get my numbers. That's where things can start to fall apart. That stuff happens in pro sports because, like, yeah, you're a team, but that's 53. I always say that those are 53 individual businesses.
Yeah.
Because they're offering their services to this team for this amount of money. Like that's business transaction. Like this is a business, and guys will go and do business for themselves. But you know what cures it all? Winning.
I'm hoping
winning goes
that
a long, long way.
Dave Canales can kind of steer this ship in the right direction so it doesn't go crazy. Because, you know, it's one of those situations where you hit an icy patch. It's only game one.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not counter, you know.
Hey, don't pump, don't hit the brakes hard.
Do not,
Let
please.
off the gas, slow down,
Just
control
ease
yourself.
into it. It's week one. So I love his optimism. Like, from the, Panther fan perspective, I love his optimism. I just also want him to be real. I don't want him to sugarcoat stuff. I want him to be honest with things are and just acknowledge it, because you have to acknowledge that there's a problem so you can fix it.
I think that's something that they're obviously doing internally. And
yes.
Like, he doesn't have to show all that out to us, and nor should he. Like,
no, during his presser, didn't he say multiple times,
he's like,
I'm
nope,
not going to address that.
That's a scheme thing.
Right.
I'm not going to let anything out there. I'm like, okay, smart.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's savvy about this. But this is his first time going through it. And I know for a fact he didn't imagine getting blown out 47-10 in his first game. Not what he envisioned. All right, you got punched in the mouth. Get up, regroup your team, and move forward. This is also, I think, will show, because I know Dave Canales, again, I like the way that he's trying to establish a culture with this team. It's going to take time. I've said it. I know you've said it, Victoria. The turnover on the roster ain't going to happen overnight. Like, it's still not a great roster. But you can still establish your culture during this time. And also, it's a chance for Dan Morgan and Dave Canales to figure out, like, all right, who's in?
Yeah.
Like, who's bought in, who's talented enough, but also who's bought in.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the dogs, as Dan Morgan wants.
Find them.
It's where you can find them. It's where we're having this conversation going into week 2.
I know. I thought we already
2.
did this. I thought we worked these kinks out.
But, hey, guess what? If you pull a win off on Sunday, you're 1-1.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you got blown out in week 1 if you win week 2.
No, because we know it's
then you're 1-1.
Right, we know it's a rebuild, so no one should anticipate or expect us to come out, looking like the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's a rebuild year. So it's okay. Like, use these games, but also get it together and stick with your plan. It was very frustrating to see them passing when we're supposed to be a running team. So
well, again, that's Dave Canales. That's a byproduct of when you throw, an interception.
Right.
First play of the game, and then it's eventually 17-0.
Yeah.
And there's 3 minutes left in the first quarter. You're like, can't really go. Hey, let's really establish that off tackle so we can use that later in the game. No, you have to abandon that. I hope the first 4 plays are all runs.
Exactly. Let's not go to halftime and almost be 30-0.
By the way, if you want to go to the game on Sunday, tickets online like $22, $22, $23.
It's way more than I thought. Way more than I
know,
thought.
Expensive, right? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. I'll be at Bank of America on Sunday, by the way.
Nice.
Myself and Chris Lee, my co-host from Panthers Playbook, will be there. We'll have an episode for you post-game. So if you want more Panther content, subscribe to Panthers Playbook. Something that you can do. But on the other side, Victoria tees them up. We got one-timers.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
people who do the heavy lifting.
Childcare teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
Get full healthcare coverage at low cost, no monthly fees, and $4 max copays. NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power. Whether you're home or away, power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? You know, when someone smiles at you, and right away you feel better. So why not pass on that smile to the next person? And then the next person passes it on to another. Winning friends one smile at a time. It's easy to do. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
When does can jam become an Olympic sport? That's what I want to know, Victoria.
I know.
I love
One of
can
these
jam.
days. You never know what the Olympics are going to bring.
Just tailgate games. Yeah. I love tailgate games. Like cornhole, you mentioned,
Yeah.
ladder ball, can jam.
I
all
mean,
fun.
Tailgating, speaking of that ECU and app game.
I know. I'm not going to lie. I'm granted, I'm going to be credentialed media. I'm going to be in the press box and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just going to go out there early and just kind of walk around and just get the
Sightsee.
vibe. Yeah, exactly. Sightsee.
Yeah.
Right
People
there,
watch.
right there around Dowdy Ficklin. It's just rolling into Greenville. It's going to be an absolute blast of a
Oh
time.
yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I'm sure.
So much fun.
The rain won't stop anything. It'll just make it a little inconveniencing, but
Ain't going to slow that crew down.
Oh, no.
They may have already started.
Yeah, they could potentially be there.
They probably are. I mean, kickoff is not for another 49, actually 51 hours roughly.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure some people at least got their smokers sort of ready.
Oh, that's actually something I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Just people that got the smokers already going and all that, and just be around, just like people at pig picking. I'm like, oh,
because not only is it the battle of yellow and black and yellow and purple or whatever their specific colors are, to each their own, but it's also the battle of Western barbecue and Eastern barbecue.
There is that. I did not think about that. That's a great point. Lexington style versus Eastern style. That's a great point. You know what? I hope they have like contests and stuff going outside.
I know.
All right. If you're an App fan or an ECU fan, I need you to send me like a DM. Hit me up on X or Instagram @TheFanRookie. If you're an App fan and you're doing Western Lexington style barbecue,
delicious.
Let me know. I want to swing by. I want to taste it. If you're doing Eastern style, let me know. I want to come by. I want to taste it. I want to do a taste test. I want to go around and try to figure out. All right, the people that are here making barbecue, I want to know. I want to taste test. I'm gonna decide which was made better, Lexington style or Eastern style.
There's got to be. I mean, that's such a missed opportunity if people aren't doing barbecue contests.
Oh, I'm sure they're already. But if you're doing it,
even if it's not
I need you to hit me up. I will swing by your tailgate. I will find you. Let's make this happen. But until then, let's do some one-timers. By the way, our good friend Graham Hill, who's from Kinston.
Yes.
Who's filled in producing on this show. He said Eastern barbecue all the way, Western barbecue is fake.
Okay, get out of here. Get out of here, Graham. You're done.
He's down the hall, Victoria. If you need to, we have another 7 minutes in this segment. You go down the hall. That's fine.
Yeah, North Carolina card revoked. I'm sorry. I'm from North Carolina, native, roots here, lived here, like born and raised.
But you're from the Triad area.
Yes.
So like Lexington style, that's probably more what you grew up with then, right?
Sort of. But see, because I'm in the Triad, you kind of get both.
You get a little bit of both. You're like on that line.
I love both kinds. You can't count out either one. Okay, Graham, I love you, but what are we doing here?
I've heard actually a good guy that works here named Anthony who loves Lexington style, hates Eastern style barbecue.
Yeah.
Hates it.
Exactly. Well, and he's from the same
And he's from the Triad. He's from the Triad as well.
He's from the 336 too. So yeah, I don't know. I love food. But anyway, I also love football. I know, right? Just teasing it is lunchtime, so go get you some barbecue.
Let's go.
Go to Cookout. So if speaking of, I also love football.
Yeah.
And with college football, looking
football.
at the games, this weekend, they are in North Carolina. If there was an upset to happen, which school do you see that coming from this week?
Ooh, an upset to happen for a school here in the state of North Carolina. I don't know what the line is, but maybe UConn at Duke. I don't know what the betting line is on that. I mean, the biggest upset that could potentially happen, or two of them, if Central goes into Keenan and beats UNC, because an FCS school going into a Power 5 or Power 4, whatever, a power school, and winning that game, that could be one. But the biggest potential upset is Wake Forest at home against Ole Miss. Ole Miss, top 10 team, coming in up in there in Winston-Salem. Like, there's your big potential upset. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen. Wake Forest is coming off that 31-30 loss against UVA, where they were moving down the field for that game-winning field goal, and unfortunately they had a fumble late. Wasn't able to complete their comeback. I mean, that's the biggest potential one, is that one, outside of Central versus UNC, because that's an in-state school. Trey Oliver's done an awesome job at NC Central, by the way, building up that program. But I mean, those are the ones for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Wake Forest against Ole Miss. That would be a massive upset.
My biggest upset is if there's no barbecue at a tailgate
this
weekend. Even though I won't
get
be
it
at
together,
any tailgate.
people.
I know. So moving on to the NFL pro football, we've got our game tonight. I cannot wait. This should be a good one. Take the over. Bills and Dolphins. So how do you anticipate seeing this game going tonight, just overall?
I'm actually curious to see what Tua can do offensively with Raheem Mostert hurt. Achane, their other running back, is nicked up, chest injuries, like game time decisions, like to be determined.
I know, and he's on my fantasy league, so I got to make a decision.
I am curious to see how Tua handles that, knowing like, all right, granted you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but do you have a running game that's going to help support you? And I think that's something that Tua needs. We'll see how that plays out. But Josh Allen, he was my pick for MVP to start the year. I'm on record saying that. Josh Allen's my pick for MVP. I love watching that dude play. Can he find someone to throw the ball to?
Yeah.
On the outside? I mean, granted, Keon Coleman had a pretty solid first day. For a rookie, he had a pretty solid first day. But yeah, Josh Allen, the amount of running that he's doing, because James Cook couldn't really get going, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns. He's got 2 good tight ends. He's got to use those guys a little bit.
I know.
More.
I think
give me the Bills in this one.
Yes.
Give me the Bills in this one.
I see that. I hope he uses Dalton
like a
Kincaid.
high-scoring game. Yeah. Well, he's got Kincaid and Dawson Knox.
Yes.
Like, he's got 2 of them.
Yeah. Kincaid's on my fantasy, so I'm biased.
And you are. I see why this question was in there.
So, moving on to my Panthers. Barf. So, which player in this game on Sunday, is there a player that you would like to see the Carolina Panthers maybe utilize more than they did on Sunday, or you just feel like might be good in this Chargers game?
I mean, it's got to be Chuba Hubbard, right?
I hope so.
Heard all off season about running the ball. It's got to be Chuba Hubbard. You have to establish that early. You can't fall behind 17-0 in the first quarter again.
Yeah.
You just can't. If you want to have the offensive flow that Dave Canales wants, everything's built on running the ball, play action, bootlegs, all those things. You got to run the ball and establish it early, at least the threat of it early on. It's Chuba Hubbard. It's got it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and last but not least, little Bryce Young. So how long would you give Brycey to consider him, before you consider him a bust?
We're actually going to talk about Bryce Young and his impact, what you expect him to be. I'm actually going to make a comparison to Cam Newton. We'll have that conversation here in 5 minutes. To me, the Germany game, because after that's the bye week, so that's roughly around 11 weeks, week 11, week 10, roughly around that time. I mean, if you don't know by then, you're never going to know. That's the thing. If you don't know by then, at least he's got to show that he can be it. He's got to show that glimmer of stuff. So I would say then, the bye week, that's the date I'd go with.
I know. I hope we erase some of that panic we saw in his eyes on the field, because that's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's panic, but even like post game, he was just kind of like, I don't know. Looking at his eyes, he was just kind of like, oh, that was.
He just seems so dejected, and you don't want him to be deflated like us fans.
No, you don't. But I know a lot of fans loved Cam Newton. They still love Cam. They miss Cam. Bryce Young was supposed to be Cam, not the player physically, but the impact on the franchise. We'll have that conversation in 5 minutes.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Who's ready for week 2 in the NFL? I know I am. Tonight, we'll get the battle between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, which are 2 teams who have proven to be a fun matchup to watch. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and this Thursday night football game is going to give so many options when it comes to making predictions and potentially filling your pockets. The Dolphins have multiple options when it comes to an anytime touchdown score. Who knows how many yards Josh Allen might rush for tonight, but you can make your best bet using BetMGM, because when you open the app, you'll have options like same game parlays, which is perfect if you have a good feeling about one or both teams. There's also live bets, prop bets, money line bets, and BetMGM also offers fun daily promotions to help spice up day of games. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
The new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Off's got a first-ever bonus game in the Outback.
You mean on the back, not Outback.
What's on the back?
The bonus game.
Then what's on the front?
Prizes up to $1 million.
I thought the game was called Bucks.
It is. Just forget it.
Crikey, mate. Don't go telling people to forget it. The whole point is for them to be remembering it.
The all-new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.81 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK. If you are a contact lens wearer tired of wasting time and money, Dr. Lori can help. 919-510-6830. Make the call now, 919-510-6830. Free consultation. You can go online, traverslasik.com, and let Dr. Lori work her magic on you. Get rid of contacts and glasses forever. Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Hurry, sale ends September 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com.
Hey, North Carolina, it's State Fair time, October 17th through the 27th in Raleigh. Homegrown happiness awaits. 11 days, just once a year. Come out and celebrate what's great about North Carolina. We've got the best deep-fried delights, the most blue ribbons ever, nearly 100 thrilling rides, and surprises around every corner. Bring your friends, bring your family, but most importantly, bring your sense of adventure. Get your discounted tickets now at ncstatefair.org. See you at the fair.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Yeah, I'm not going to mix the two. I'm not going to mix the two. I'm not going to take a knee. I'm not going to, ask to defund the police. I'm not going to protest. I'm not going to do any of that when it comes to being inside of this football, because this is my therapy. Like, football is my therapy. This is how I get away from, a lot of stuff. This is how I, separate myself from past traumas in my life, man. So, I'm not going to mix the two.
Bills Dolphins tonight. I know you're very nervous about Achane with the ankle injury, questionable for the Dolphins, Victoria.
I know.
I know you're very big on your fantasy team.
I am.
But hey, it's a home game for the Dolphins at least. So
it is.
That going for them.
It is. But when you have members on your fantasy team on both sides, it's kind of like, ooh.
I just want scoring.
I just want a lot of running and scoring.
Just all the points, please. Now, I hope as we take 2 here, speaking of running and scoring, as we get the look ahead. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today here on the Adam Gold Show. Victoria producing the show as always. You can give me a follow at The Fan Rookie on, any social media platform.
Yeah. I'm V to the Victoria on everything.
V, the number 2.
Yeah.
V to the Victoria.
Yeah, on the Twitters.
We all know who Cam Newton was, right?
Aww.
Cam Newton, former NFL MVP, first overall pick out of Auburn, first game of his career with 422 yards, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We saw it right from the get-go, the flashes and all that stuff. And now here's the thing. When Bryce Young was drafted, I know Panthers fans were probably thinking and feeling like, do we have our next Cam? And I'm not talking about Cam Newton, the physical talent. Cam Newton, the physical talent, is a rare breed. Like, there are very few guys that have come into the NFL before or since him that fit that profile. Anthony Richardson, second-year quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, has that physical ability, the running, the strength, the size. Josh Allen, actually, I think really actually is very similar. But you're hoping that Carolina drafted their next Cam Newton in terms of impact, franchise impact. As soon as Cam arrived in Carolina, everything changed. Everything changed. You had the face of your franchise from marketing standpoint, jersey sales, personality, all those things. You had the face, but also you had the talent on the field that matched it. Panthers went to a Super Bowl. They won multiple division championships. Cam won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the team was built, at least offensively, was built around him. It was built around his strengths, built around what he could do. Gosh, I remember the days when Cam and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield
beautiful.
together. It was awesome.
I loved it so much.
And it wasn't that long ago. People that want to try and compare Bryce and Cam. Now, I know some people are going to look at Bryce and go like, well, wait a second, that don't look like that guy. And I know that guy worked. You don't look like that guy in terms of physical stature. I totally get that. But I think Bryce wasn't drafted to be Cam, the physical player. Because again, that's an alien. That's what that is. That's an alien. Those guys aren't around all over the place.
He was the alien before Mahomes was here.
But then you look at what the franchise impact is supposed to be. That's where people want to see, okay, who's our next Cam Newton? Like, who's their next franchise quarterback that is going to be the person that this team is built around in terms of his strengths, the coaching staff, the players, the personnel, how they draft, built around this guy because you know that he was to be the one that carries things through. You still have that question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they try to do the patchwork thing after they got rid of Cam. Maybe this is the curse of Cam Newton. Maybe this is what this is.
Maybe.
Because the team got rid of Cam. They decided to move on from him. They did the Teddy Bridgewater thing. They tried the Sam Darnold thing, the Baker Mayfield thing, all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
And we got here to Bryce. Hey, you moved up all the assets. We know that story to get that guy. Okay. That person is supposed to be our next Cam. Because the decisions that you made to go get him tells us that he's supposed to be the next Cam. Again, not in terms of physical stature and ability, it's about franchise impact. He's supposed to be our next Cam. And this is where Panthers fans sit there and say, well, Tepper, franchise, you told us that's Cam. We knew Cam before you were here.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't him.
At all.
That ain't him. Because we saw it for a decade, or the better part of a decade here, and we saw the success, and the team was in national conversations on ESPN, Fox, whatever it is. Again, Cam MVP, people talked about it. The Panthers were at its peak. And I know I'm factoring in like the early days, in like early 2000s. I know they went to the Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme, but in terms of national standing, and that you can look at that team, you could look at the Panthers and say, even if you didn't know hardly anything about him, you could look at him and say like, oh yeah, there's that Cam Newton guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's their star. Oh, there's Cam Newton. If you're like a casual NFL fan, you can look at the Buffalo Bills and go like, oh, that Josh Allen guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what running back is, but I know who Josh Allen is.
Yeah.
Like, he's that star player. Or you could look at Detroit for a long time, and it was, Matt Stafford and Megatron and wide receiver. Or for even, people my age, you knew the Lions stunk, but like you had that star, you had Barry Sanders, you had that guy.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Panthers, we're like, oh yeah, Bryce. He was the first pick. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, him. Mm.
Yeah, he's known for being the short quarterback that we spent all our draft and capital on.
That's the thing. Panthers fans remember before Tepper, Yeah, we had Cam. We had that guy. Okay, we're waiting for that next guy. You come in and you tell us that's going to be the guy now. And we look and say, like, that's not it.
We know what it is.
That is where the frustration, or part of the frustration for Panthers fans, is that we were told that's supposed to be our next Cam.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been. Now, Cam, outside of the field, also had the personality, the charisma, the swagger. He had all of it. And I loved it.
Me too.
He had the personality. He wasn't afraid to show it. He was authentically himself. I loved it.
He backed it up, too.
And he did. Well, that's the thing. Like, he played well in the field, and he backed it up. To me, Bryce, I think at times is too buttoned up.
Yes.
Especially when he talks to the media. I think he's too buttoned up at times.
Yeah.
He always gives you, like, for example, when he was asked about week 1 struggles, hey, was it just first game jitters, first game of the year, first game in a new offense, kind of led to a rough week 1? Here's what he had to say.
I think that for me, that's not really how I choose to look at things. I think we all have circumstances. Everyone, whether it's system or players or whatever, if you choose to look at that, I think you can make excuses for almost anything. So for me, I want to be the best that I can every single day. And again, we looked at the film on Monday, grabbed stuff that we talked about, and then now we've turned the page. It's on to the Chargers. So regardless of the situation, it's NFL. Everyone has something to deal with. So right now, really, it's just about how good we can be on Sunday and earning the right to do that throughout the week of practice.
A very media answer. And I say a media answer is someone like who's media trained to kind of give like the generic kind of sidestep, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you something, but really nothing.
I want real. See, this is something that I actually said a couple days ago, and it's on this same wavelength. So as a Panthers fan who misses Cam Newton so much, I don't need Bryce to be Cam Newton, but one thing that bothers me a lot with Bryce is he does not have the spark. He does not have that drive that Cam had. And Cam owned all of, if he had a bad week, he owned it. He lived up to it. He acknowledged it, and then he worked on it. Not that Bryce doesn't, but it's okay to come out there and be like, look, we stunk. I'm going to work on things. I've got this, but we'll work on it for the next week. I miss that with Cam. He had that heart. He had that drive. He had that dog like Dan Morgan likes to say. I loved Cam Newton. But that concerns me with Bryce because I don't see that in him.
Exactly. That's you made my point more eloquently than I did now, Victoria, in terms of like saying like we know what Cam is, like that spark. That's not it when we see Bryce. That's what I meant by impact, by franchise impact. We haven't seen that from him. I want to see Bryce open up. If he would answer that question, again, he was paraphrasing the question here, but like, hey, the struggles, was it part of, first game of the year jitters, being part of a new offense, learning it, not having a lot of reps, and live action during the offseason? He could have said, like, there's no excuse. I was bad. I can't throw a pick on the first play. We're getting back to work. The offense is good. I have to be better. But that's like, if he just said that, been like, okay. All right, cool.
Yep. Got
it. And no, we get 41 seconds of like this talk around type thing.
Mush mouth.
That's the media trained answer.
Yeah.
He also was asked because he was known coming out of the draft as being like this guy who's his strength was between the ears, his mind, right? He was asked like, does the offense fit his strength when it comes to processing?
It's, again, another thing I appreciate about the coaching staff. They want to win games, want to be efficient, and offensively just want to execute. And, they don't care how it gets done. They give me the freedom to do as I see fit. And, for me, with that respect, it's not just going rogue and doing whatever. It's, having conversations throughout the week and, hey, I saw this, communicating about whatever it may be, and them doing the same with me. So I appreciate that, and I think the system is, for me, it's a great system to be a part of. So I'm grateful for it.
Once again, kind of a workaround here, because it's processing, seeing stuff before the play, knowing like, okay, blitz is coming here. All right, let's change protection. Let's slide things over. Hey, let's call an audible. All those different kinds of things at the line of scrimmage, like the savant. And this is, I think, where Panthers fans are a little concerned, is that we haven't really fully seen that yet, it feels like. But it's also, if you can't be that,
Then what are you?
Then what are you? Because you don't have the elite arm. You don't have the size. You don't have the speed.
No. And that's why we got you, is because you are cool, calm, collected in the pocket and out of it.
Well, yeah, like, again, between the ears.
Yeah. Oh, so frustrating.
So that's, again, I think where we see Bryce, the impact on the franchise, it hasn't been the Cam Newton. Again, I'm just talking impact, not raw physical ability. But the spark that you mentioned, Victoria, haven't seen it yet.
I know.
And I hope that spark, I hope that fire lights real soon. Otherwise,
me too.
They'll move on.
Let's go get one of them logs or something.
Hey,
Duralog or something.
fire starters?
Yeah, with the crackle in it.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Like, I need some instant light charcoal, and I'm throwing the lighter fluid.
Please and thank you.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Coming up this Saturday, a lot of great college football. A lot of really good college football. I'm going to dive into the ACC here a little bit. What should we look for from Boston College? I'll explain in 4 minutes.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is the retirement planning specialist. And since we're all in a football mode based on the season just starting, let's make sure that we are set up in the financial red zone. What is the financial red zone, you say? I don't know. Coach Pete DeRuta does. Here's what you need to do. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700. We're going to get you with Coach Pete DeRuta and his crew over at Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex, and they will design a specific, tailor-made, total customized retirement plan for you, which will get you not just into the red zone, but into the end zone with all of the money you need to retire on your terms. 888-843-0013. By the way, that total customized retirement plan is a $1,000 value. You get it free today. 888-843-0013 for Coach Pete DeRuta.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Stop by the new O'Reilly Auto Parts in Whispering Pines on Highway 22 next to Domino's.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Bobby Joe absolutely hated her job.
Can't hate that job any more than I do.
So, time for one of those fancy tech schools?
No, I could never afford that. I'm going to Sharky's.
Sharky's?
Yeah, no better place to relax. Great food, cold beer, good whiskey, darts, billiards.
So now you love your job?
No, I still hate my job, but I loves me some Sharky's. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, everybody loves Sharky's. Sharky's Place, one of the best neighborhood bars in the world. 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
It's truck season at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Get yourself a brand new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a combined discount of up to 15% off. Or just 5.9% interest for 84 months with a 9% combined discount when you trade in a 2013 or newer vehicle. See dealer for discounts and details. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford.
Visit in person today or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Did you know that most of your home's cold AC this summer leaked out through your old windows? Save money year-round with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends September 30th, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
You know, there's an ACC SEC top 25 matchup this weekend.
Yes.
And it's not Wake Forest at home against Ole Miss. The Ole Miss is nationally ranked at number 5. It's Boston College. It's Boston College at Missouri. I know. By the way, Dennis Cox here sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show. I want to title this segment of the show, Victoria, as the sights from my sectional.
I like it.
Because we all sit on the couch, we all watch highlights, we watch games, we read about games, whatever it might be, through different platforms, whatever it is. We watch highlights on our phone, on whatever it is.
And sectionals are comfortable.
And I have a sectional, and I love my sectional. So these are sights from my sectional.
Right.
And I was thinking, let's go ACC style here. I'll start with Florida State. We'll get into Boston College here in just a sec. We'll start with Florida State. You had the off week, 0-2 on the year. Lost on national television that first Saturday, week 0, out in Dublin to Georgia Tech. And then you come back on, was it Monday Night Football, if I remember correctly? National television once again. And you get beat by Boston College. Not just, you didn't just Boston College threw a Hail Mary or something like that. No, you got beat on your home field. And the Doak Campbell Stadium was empty in the middle of the fourth quarter. You had the week off. Now you're home against Memphis, a Memphis team in the American. We'll get into the American and ECU here in a little bit. That's trying to, here's the thing, Memphis has something to play for. Memphis is going to go on the road down to Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Memphis has something to play for in the sense of, hey, you know what? We can get our way into the college football playoff. Here's why. Top 5 schools make it to the CFP, or top 5 conference champions get automatic bids into the college football playoff. Top 5. Well, last time I checked, there were 4 power conferences, right? ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, their champions are going to get in. If I'm Memphis, and if I win the American and I have a road win against a Power 4 school, and Florida State added into that mix, and if Florida State can kind of wiggle their way back up to a 7-win season or whatever it might be, looks pretty damn good. So Memphis has something to play for going into this game. Florida State's just trying to get it right. Florida State is just trying to get it right. Let's start with some other ACC schools here. Like I said, Boston College. Boston College, you have my attention. Again, you have the biggest matchup this weekend, dare I say, in the ACC on the road against top 10 Missouri. Now, how awesome would it be for Bill O'Brien, first year? Castellanos, their quarterback, undersized, can run really well. Go on the road to a top 10 SEC school and get a win. Maybe that's the boost the ACC needs. Is it weird to say I'm all in on the Eagles? It's so weird to say that in week 3 of the college football season, Boston College can elevate the league. Right? That's where we are.
Who saw that coming?
But here's the thing. The ACC has to be more than just Clemson. It has to be more than just Florida State. It has to be more than just those 2 schools. And it has to be more than just the hope that the U is back. Now, granted, Miami's looked really good in their first 2 games, but you have to be more than just that. And Boston College, can you get a road win against a top 10 team from the SEC? Let's go. The Fighting Bill O'Briens. Oh, speaking of beating SEC schools, how about Cal? Welcome to the chat, Cal Golden Bears. You beat Auburn last week on the road. Cal beats an SEC school. Like, hey, elevate the conference, Cal. Hey, congratulations. You've earned your stripes here in the conference in the ACC. Good for you. Virginia Tech, I'm sorry I don't have time for you because I don't have time for you. By the way, I want to know where all the people that were saying, oh, Virginia Tech, kind of a dark horse college football playoff. Like, they can get in. Maybe it was like an 11.
Yeah.
Where y'all at?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, people were saying that. I said, what do you see from Virginia Tech that tells you that? Like, well, they're bringing back.
Yeah. Lots of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, people were saying that. I'm like, why? Like, well, they're bringing back like 21 or 22 starters. I'm like, from a team that was average? Okay. Not buying it. By the way, also Syracuse, welcome to the chat as well. Syracuse beat Georgia Tech last week. And Kyle McCord, their quarterback, I think it's like the 3rd quarterback in the ACC to throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns in back-to-back games. Hello? Kyle McCord, the transfer from Ohio State, where people from Ohio State be like, yeah, he's just kind of a game manager, you know, we're going to move on. He initially had committed to Nebraska, and our good friend Matt Rule. But Matt Rule got the Raiola, top recruit in the country. So he decides, okay, I'm actually not going to go to Nebraska. I'm going to go to Syracuse. Dude's lighting it up right now. Now, Syracuse is off this week, so they get a chance to kind of take a little bit of a break. Oh, by the way, Cal, that I mentioned earlier, they're 2-0 in the year. They get future Pac-12 team San Diego State. That's right, future Pac-12 team San Diego State. We'll dive into more college football realignment and all that stuff coming up here in a little bit. Pitt, backyard brawl against West Virginia. That's going to be a slugfest. But, hey, Pitt can go 3-0 if they beat WVU. Georgia Tech has the get-right game. They play VMI. They're an FCS school. Georgia Tech should steamroll them. Miami at home against Ball State. It's a 3:30 game this weekend. Miami at home versus Ball State. A lot of people want to say that the U is back because they hope that they are. They want to say it because they are saying because they want it to be true. They're trying to speak it into existence. Okay, are you the team that is back with Cam Ward at quarterback? Are you the U now once again? I mean, you kicked the snot out of Florida. Almost said something else, Victoria. Once I'm saying dump button. They kicked the snot out of Florida. Yes, that too. Out of Florida in week 1. And I thought it was funny. They're walking off the field. Florida had all these recruits because they went to the swamp in Gainesville. Florida had all these recruits kind of sitting there by the field, and they're like, walking down on the field post-game, and the Miami players were like, y'all don't want to come here. Come to us. I'm like, that was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I love those things.
Yeah, that's a little spice.
Exactly. I mean, you blew out a rival. Now, you're playing a team like Ball State. You should look like the team that is number 10 in the country versus Ball State. And by that is, you go in there, you take care of business right away, you don't mess around, and your starters are out there mid-third quarter. Like, that's the kind of thing that you need to do. Again, Virginia Tech, they're on the road at Old Dominion. I would not be shocked if ODU beats Virginia Tech. Virginia, 2-0 on the year. Virginia had I want to call it an upset win over Wake Forest. Virginia, Anthony Calandria, their quarterback, he's got some moxie to him. I think Anthony Calandria, undersized guy. He's like 6 foot, 190 pounds, like not very big. But there's something about, like, he's kind of got that gamer, Victoria, where it's just a little bit like, you know what? He just finds a way to make a play. I mean, it's going to be He's going to make some mistakes. They're going to be kind of glaring, but he's also going to just make those like 4 or 5 really big plays. You're like, how is this dude pulling this thing off? He's got a little something there, but or is Tony Ellett in Virginia? Are they turning things around? They're 2-0. They face former ACC school, Maryland, and we all do not like Maryland. I can't stand Maryland. Cannot stand. Let's actually get into some other big games here in the state of North Carolina. Wake Forest at home against Ole Miss. Jackson Dart. By the way, that be a lot of Ole Miss fans are going to be traveling up for this game, I believe. That's going to be an electric atmosphere. Wake, can you pull off an upset? You are severely, let's just say, an underdog. 22.5-point underdog to Ole Miss. But hey, what does that mean? Nothing. Let's go to some more local schools here in the state of North Carolina. I want to get into North Carolina. UNC at home against NC Central. I was at their game, covering it against just this past weekend against Charlotte.
Okay, yeah.
And I took some notes from the game. Mostly just trying to take a look at, again, just kind of keep a running tab of notes, just different things I was seeing sitting up there in the press box. This is something I thought that Chip Lindsey, their offensive coordinator, I thought did a pretty good job as the game progressed of setting things up for Connor Harrell and his strengths. Connor Harrell, quarterback, did not start week 1. Max Johnson had the leg injury. I know Max Johnson is back in town from my understanding. I think he was supposed to come back Wednesday, the team announced. As far as I know, everything went well with that. Happy that young man is back home, or at least back on campus, back at school. Connor Harrell, his strength, he's got a super strong arm, by the way. But what sets him apart from other quarterbacks is his ability to run. That's an added wrinkle to the offense that Max Johnson just doesn't provide. That's fine. It's just what it is. I thought that early on in the game that Chip Lindsey did a really good job of setting things up for Connor Harrell to set up some big plays as the game progressed. For example, the Nate McCullen touchdown run on the end around that he was 37 yards. He's on the right side of the field, ends up coming around, gets an end around, runs around the left side, makes a couple moves around the 10-yard line in the end zone for a touchdown. Earlier on in the game, I think it was the series before, Connor Harrell's in the back in the backfield in the shotgun, got a running back, and there's Amari Hampton to his right, runs a handoff with Hampton up the middle, gets like 8 or 9 yards. And the way Charlotte reacted to it was like, wow, they're selling out on stopping the run up here in the middle. They showed the exact same look, offensive line blocking, same look in the backfield. Now you added the element of McCollum coming around. The defense sold on trying to stop the run up the middle, had the counter going the other way. That's setting up. That's good game planning. Hey, we're going to show one thing early in the game. We know we can possibly hit this something later on. That's good game planning. I thought that was actually really good. We did not see, at least from Harrell in terms of the passing game, I thought he was under duress a little bit early. One thing I didn't see was them actually using passes over the middle of the field. No quick slants. Didn't see any seam routes from their tight end. I know Nesbitt, one of their tight ends, got hurt, but Copenhaver is also a great tight end. They have two great tight ends out there in Chapel Hill with Nesbitt and Copenhaver. I actually really am a big fan of their skill position players. I did not see them use the middle of the field a whole lot. Now, again, that's probably by design, try and get guys in space, but I was like, you know what? Use the play action and allow Connor Harrell to maybe use the middle of the field. You know, for example, Nesbitt or Copenhaver's blocking for a second. They let their guy go and they slip out into the flat or in the middle of the field between the hash marks. Pick up chunk plays that way. I thought that was something that they didn't really do as command the middle of the field, at least in terms of the passing game. But as the game progressed, I felt like Connor Harrell got more comfortable. And that's good. And they're playing NC Central this weekend, an FCS opponent. Not trying to disparage what Trey Oliver has built there in Durham with NC Central. But when you're a power conference school playing against an FCS school, it's one of those you should go take care of business type games. Don't play with your food. Go out there and take care of business. I think this is a good opportunity for Connor Harrell to get more live reps and get even more comfortable. On the defensive side of things, though, no K'Mon Rucker in the game. He got hurt actually 2 days or so, what Mac Brown said before the game against Charlotte. Injured in the weight room. I think it was like an upper body injury, from my understanding. But nonetheless, he was injured during the weight room. Going to be out a couple of weeks, so he's not going to be playing this weekend. They have James Madison next week. Not the most difficult of games if he does miss them, if that makes sense. But no K'Mon Rucker, but they were still able to generate a pretty decent pass rush, I thought. Now, Max Brown, if I remember correctly the name, the quarterback for Charlotte, got hurt during the game late in the second quarter, so they had to switch to a backup quarterback. But I thought the passing game for defense, or the defensive, let me start that over. The UNC pass defense during the game struggled giving up some big chunk plays. In the first half alone, pass plays of 23 yards, 25 yards, 30, 37, 40. And then you add on, like, with the backup quarterback early in the second half, add a 34-yard pass play on top of that from their backup quarterback. We're just giving up big chunk plays. I know Mac Brown was asked about it after the game, and he said, it's just the defensive call was right. It's just guys need to do their individual jobs better. Like, that's really what it was. Like, hey, you got to take care of your individual responsibility. I think Carolina's team, the way they're built, the way their schedule is right now, with Central coming up, JMU after that. Not saying, you play with your food, but they should really be able to get the reps that they need with their offense, live reps, for when they start and get to the meat of their schedule when, a few weeks from now when they got to play Duke. Like when they actually get into end of September and they got to play Duke, they might be sitting there 4-0. Might be sitting there 4-0 going into the end of September. Like UNC actually, they could beat Duke, having watched Duke play as well this year.
Oh, that'd be huge.
They might be 5-0.
That would be huge.
5-0 going into October. That'd be massive for them. 5-0, again, with having to have a quarterback change due to injury. They have the skill guys to do it. And I think the way the schedule is set up for them right now, again, get live reps. I know Nesbitt got nicked up. Omari Hampton had a lower body injury. Mac Brown said Hampton was available, but they said, you know what? Like, we're up a lot. Let's save the carries, which I thought smart decision. You don't have to play those guys a whole lot or even at all against Central, and you should still be fine. I know their starting center got a little nicked up. Mac Brown said nothing that seems it's going to be long-term, like maybe a week or two, that's it. That's fine. You're going to be getting guys healthy, but it's also, again, live reps for other guys as well. So I'm excited to see what North Carolina can do moving forward. By the way, later on in the show, we're going to dive into NC State coming up this weekend. And also, Duke at home against UConn. Duke can go 3-0. Wait, by the way, the game at Northwestern last week for Duke, that was a grind. A grind.
Big time.
Hey, pulled out the win, though.
Yeah.
Go on the road to a Big Ten school, and you got to win. You're 2-0. Now, Jaquez Moore, your running back, a little nicked up. Had the walking boot on. That's the major question for Duke going forward is their running game.
You don't like to see that.
No, you don't see anyone get hurt. But even when they played Elon, the running game between the tackles was non-existent against an FCS school in Elon. Now, Elon, I know, made the FCS playoffs, so there's no pushover of an FCS school. But you should be able to run the ball on an FCS school. You should, at least somewhat consistently. That's going to be their big thing. By the way, Jordan Moore, wide receiver, that guy's going to catch a ton of passes this season from Malik Murphy. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. The game I'm looking forward to most this weekend is not an ACC game.
No.
It's not a top 25 game.
No.
It's not even a matchup between two Power 4 conference schools. Going out to Greenville, baby. I'm going out to Greenville on Saturday. Greenville.
So excited.
North Carolina. App on the road at ECU. I know you and I touched on this a little bit while ago, Victoria, but one of the reasons why I love this game for a couple of reasons. Mike Houston and ECU, 2-0 to start the year. They're trying to bounce back from a down year last year.
Yeah.
From a couple years ago, they went 8-5,
Mm-hmm.
factor in the bowl game. They went 8-5 a couple of years ago in 2022. I was at the game covering it when they hosted NC State week 1 of that year, and they were a missed kick away from winning that game. Like, that's where they were, and they're trying to get back to it. I know, obviously, guys like Holton Ahlers, their quarterback, no longer there, but this is a big game for ECU. Again, 2-0 to start the year, try and go 3-0. For App State, on the other side of things, you got it. It got kicked in, let's just say that, against Clemson on the road. You took a swift kick right to where on the road at Clemson. I think you caught Clemson at the worst time because Clemson coming off their big loss against Georgia week 1. They're trying to get things bounce back and right the ship. And they saw what Florida State did trying to their quote-unquote bounce-back game against Boston College. They took Boston College lightly, and Boston College ran it up and down the field on them. So Clemson's like, not gonna let that happen here to us. Unfortunately, App State's the one that kind of caught the end of that left hook. So App's trying to bounce back. App has something to play for. I mentioned a little bit ago how Memphis has something to play for. App is kind of in that same situation of if we win the Sun Belt and we're the 5th highest rated conference champion, we're going to the college football playoff. Like there's something for these FBS schools, like where these kinds of games matter a ton because you want to try and boost your resume as much as possible. Because let's say if App loses to ECU, even though they still win the Sun Belt, but they lose to ECU, an American school, and let's say ECU or Memphis wins the American, you look at resume and all that kind of stuff, well, the school from the American is probably going to be rated higher. So there's a lot actually riding on these kinds of games.
I think they're also just trying to pass the embarrassing baton, I should say, because Clemson gave it to App, so now App is trying to give it to ECU.
It's trying to give it to ECU. We talked about the clash of cultures. I won't say clash of cultures, like the blend of cultures that we're going to see. Eastern-style barbecue, Western-style barbecue, but just the eastern part of the state versus the western, like the folks coming down the mountain, heading all the way out to Greenville. We saw it last year when ECU went up to App. I mean, both strong, passionate fan bases with strong football history, I would say. I know it fluctuates up and down, obviously, with each program in terms of what years are stronger than others, but there's a history and a known history for each of these two programs. Strong, passionate fan bases, like I mentioned. Strong tailgating culture. Obviously, we get that in the state of North Carolina as a whole, but these two fan bases know how to do it right.
Yeah, they
to say the least. By the way, actually, my buddy Mike hit me up. He's like, I'm tailgating at the ECU game Saturday.
Nice.
Holler at me.
Fun.
Don't worry, Mike. I'll find you.
Yes.
But actually, also hit me up. If you're going to be at App ECU, hit me up at the Fan Rookie. I want to come test your barbecue. I want to come taste it. I want to come taste your barbecue. Are you doing Lexington Western style or are you doing Eastern style? That's kind of like the fun thing of it. It's like you get the folks that are close to the coast, that kind of crowd, versus the folks from the mountains, that kind of crowd. It's a fun blend, and it's great for the state of North Carolina. I love these kinds of games. But there's a lot at stake for each of these. Can Mike Houston and ECU continue to work things back to, again, not just a bowl game, but you sneak out and you win the American, pull an upset against maybe Memphis in the conference championship game later on this year? Who knows? There's actually a lot to play for a group of 5 schools nowadays, as opposed to, maybe I'll get to a New Year's Six bowl if we have a good enough season. There's more at stake in these kinds of games I think people are giving credit for. And I think it only amps up the level of play for these kinds of games. Like, hey, you know what? Something more to play for than just like, maybe I'll get to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. No, you can actually be the 12 seed and be like, yep, college football playoff. You're in it. It's going to be such a great atmosphere, though. The atmosphere of that place is just going to be Greenville's.
Even if
are they already grilling?
Yeah, they
are the smokers already going?
Mm-hmm.
How much Pirate Brew and Mountain Brew is going to be consumed?
All of it.
Exactly.
Just
We're
all
out.
Of it.
Is anywhere? No, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Like we need
It's done.
2 weeks to resupply here, folks.
It's done. Thankfully, the heavens will be sprinkling water down, so you just have to open your face.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. On the other side, we need a stretch. Been at this for a while. We need a stretch. We need to place bets coming up here on the Adam Gold Show.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I'm ready for more NFL. What about you? And FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is continuing this special offer to keep us watching more. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. You are ready to go. FanDuel.com/AGS. Download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel is the real deal. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Visit us online at actce.com to schedule a demo. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? A simple thank you, a friendly smile when you pass a stranger, looking people in the eye and greeting them with, "Hi, how are you today?" And really meaning it? It takes so little time, but it works wonders. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind to everybody. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does it make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's that time, folks. Here on the Adam Gold Show. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam today. Victoria producing. It's that time. Time to stretch out.
Yes.
What you got, V?
So many good things. There's so many stories that I could start with. However, I would love this deal. So first up is a guy in Ohio who I guess is just a huge ZZ Top fan. So
okay. Does he have a big beard?
Maybe. I don't know what he looks like. But he did enter a contest, or there was some kind of promotion where he could sign up to get free ZZ Top tickets for every single tour for the rest of his life for $100. So it was a lifetime membership thing that ZZ Top did. So he could go to any tour, like on any tour, any show, whatever. And he did this in 1984.
Oh, okay.
So when he first signed up for this membership, it included a satin tour jacket, bumper stickers, and a signed poster. He said he can't find the poster, but he has everything else. So, and he's still going to concerts every single time. He says he hasn't missed one since 1984.
That's wild.
So
imagine seeing the same show every time.
Wow. That is dedication. Or something.
It's something.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've got bands that I would do that too, but he said his favorite show was the Eliminator Tour, just in case anyone who is also a ZZ Top fan was wondering what his favorite was compared to all the other ones. But you gotta think, I would love that membership because for $100, even though this was 1984 and, money is not the same, that would be awesome to just spend more than $100 just to go to one show now. So
seriously.
So I would love that deal. But yeah, so there you go. Mike in Ohio is still going to all the ZZ Top tours.
I mean, the investment though, right? $100 in 1984, and he's just. Well, yeah, I mean, if I got this thing, I might as well use it, right?
Yeah. At least they're still touring, too, because that's the other thing. I mean, when they stop, I guess your membership ends, but they're still going, so.
I'm trying to think of, can you even calculate how much money, if he bought tickets to all these concerts individually, how much money that would have cost him?
I know. Well,
that's crazy. But hey, you know what? If you're a diehard ZZ Top fan, by all means, do you.
I know. So good for him. He's probably the biggest fan. Now, one thing I am not a fan of after reading this article, it's not great for North Carolina. So, a study by the FBI has looked at the states with the highest burglary rate. And, well, if you live in places like New Hampshire, then you're good because they have the lowest burglary rate with 74 per 100,000 people. Also included in this was Maine, Virginia, so not far from us,
all right,
Rhode Island, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, states like that. However, now looking at the highest burglary rate, we didn't take the cake for that one, but New Mexico did. So there's that and that rate is 604 per 100,000 people versus that 74 per 100,000 people. So it's escalated a little bit. But that also includes Washington, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Colorado, and then yours truly, North Carolina. So we're included in that one as well.
I guess we're ranked.
Hey, that's one way to look at it. So
I guess sounds like, we also received votes.
Yeah, right. Well, we've got something. So there you go. I don't know. Just remember to lock your doors, I suppose.
Yeah, lock your doors. Hide all your valuables.
That's just how it is.
I have on my motorcycle, I have a what's called a disc lock.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't wheel it.
Yeah.
Unless you unlock it.
Yeah.
Which I have.
It works out really well that way. So, and something else that works out, this may not help you sleep, but one thing that, as you get older, you need help to sleep sometimes. And so there are some of the worst habits that we do, and experts are telling us, let's avoid doing these things because it's not good for us.
Okay.
So, not knowing how much sleep you really need, some people tend to think they need less than they actually do. We need about 7 to 9 every night, which, that's optimistic.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's very
that
optimistic.
Would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Eating too much or too little before bed, I get it. Sometimes you get a little hungry. This is big for a lot of people. Screens before you go to sleep.
Yes.
So phones, TVs, all that stuff. Not winding down. I actually read an article recently that stretching is a good idea. So this one also gets me napping too much. Now, I don't nap, but I am a person who falls asleep on the couch a lot.
I do that. I have a very nice sectional, and I love it. I do know some people that nap often.
Yes.
Very often.
Yes.
And
struggle.
Sometimes there's a struggle to fall asleep at night.
Look, my boy Biff, once he gets like comfy underneath my feet, I can't move, so I got to nap with him.
I totally get it. That's the thing for me. If I nap, I can't. I have trouble falling asleep.
Oh, yeah, it ruins everything.
I have trouble falling asleep.
It ruins everything. But hopefully we make some picks that don't ruin everything.
Let's go.
Place your bets. Here. I bet you slice into the woods $100. Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide. Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
By the way, my girlfriend just texted me. I feel attacked when we talk about the naps.
I get it.
Yep.
I guess I technically nap too. But those couch sleeps, they'll get you. So
that's how they get you.
I know.
All right, V, what's your first one?
So all of mine are going to be on the football field tonight because the Buffalo Bills are going to be in Miami taking on the Dolphins. This is totally I am projecting my fantasy right here.
Of course.
Fantasy league.
Why else would you?
Let me have Dalton Kincaid to be an anytime touchdown scorer. Please, Josh Allen. He is plus 200.
Okay, plus 200. I'm actually going to go with Josh Allen to be the first touchdown scorer of the game, plus 650.
Oh, nice.
Plus
okay.
650.
So I'm going to do this where it's a halftime like winner and then a final winner.
Okay.
So I could see this potentially being a thing. Miami Dolphins to be winning at halftime, and then the Buffalo Bills come back because they're real good at doing that and closing it out with a win for themselves. So give me the Dolphins to win at halftime, Buffalo Bills to finish it out and win the whole game, plus 850.
Plus 850?
Yeah.
Okay. I am contractually obligated to give you a soccer bet, even though these games aren't until Saturday. I'm contractually obligated to give you a soccer bet because this is the Adam Gold Show. Southampton versus Man U. Give me a draw plus 310.
I do like a draw, so I always
do love a good draw.
Always cheer on a draw.
Do love a good draw.
There you
no
go.
one scores, and the rest of us win.
It's the only sport where people like that, I guess. So my last one with football, I'm gonna take the Bills, like I said, but give me the over also. Combining those together because the over set at 48.5, but it's the Bills and the Dolphins. That's plus 285.
Okay. I'm going to go your neck of the woods here. UFC 306 this weekend, Victoria.
Yes, which we'll have more picks, Lee and I, later. I can't wait.
That you will. I'm actually going to parlay Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Give me Shevchenko on the money line. She's plus 114. Sugar Sean O'Malley defending his title against Merab Dvalishvili. He's he's minus 135 on the money line is O'Malley. Take those two on the money line, O'Malley and Shevchenko, plus 272 to win. I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan. Talk about personality. Sean O'Malley has it for days, and he has the talent to back it up. What does Dave Canales think going into game number 2 of his career regarding the team not quitting? You'll hear that Wall Sound coming up.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NFL Week 2 is here. It starts tonight. Bills, Dolphins, Thursday Night Football, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has great things for you. If you are new, you can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager, and you can build the greatest parlay of all time, including Josh Allen to score 2 touchdowns or throw 2 touchdown passes. Only way Buffalo scores is if Josh Allen does it. Plus, Tyreek Hill, he's going to score because that's what he does. Visit FanDuel.com/AdamGold and make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're serving up some fresh AFC action.
Here we go. Woo!
It's Buffalo and Miami.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
Pregame starts at 7:30.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
We came here for one thing, to win.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Hello? Hey, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. Did you know we've got you fully covered?
I've taken up beekeeping. I'm always covered.
I'm talking the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage at up to half the cost.
Same honey, half the work?
Exactly.
Sweet.
Just call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2020.
Whether it's the Hurricanes and their push for a second Stanley Cup or the first-year travails of Bryce Young and the Panthers, you get all of that and more in the Best of the Adam Gold Show, brought to you by Coach P at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com. Adam Gold here for my friends at CertaPro Painters, and I call them my friends because I have used them before, and let me tell you, they know how important your home is to you. They made that clear to me. That's why they're focused on helping you bring a fresh color to your home, and they're great in even the hard-to-reach places we have vaulted ceilings. Each CertaPro Painters business is also independently owned and operated. In other words, they live right here in our community. You can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This App ECU series, I think, just makes a ton of sense because there's so many similarities in terms of how these schools value football. I think we're going to see Saturday that the fans of ECU are very excited for this one. They owe App a little payback from the last two meetings, and they're feeling good about their team off to a 2-0 start. So, yeah, as it gets tougher and tougher for schools like App and ECU to schedule games against P4 opponents, hopefully that means that they can put a larger value on playing this type of game moving forward.
I know I'm stoked for that ECU game.
Yes.
I'm pumped for it.
Oh, yeah.
I will be out there. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold, Victoria producing. I'm going to be out there in Greenville at Dowdy Ficklin on Saturday, 4 o'clock kickoff.
Bring your poncho.
Pumped.
Mm-hmm.
That, when the schedules got announced, we're going to get into the wall sound here in a sec. But when the schedules for all the schools got announced, you know, back over the summer and all that kind of stuff, and you start looking at dates, like, okay, who's playing who, when, and all that, I was like, when's the ECU app game? That's the one I wanted to know. When is that game taking place? And I immediately went like, okay, September 14th. And I said, can I make this game? So one thing that I try and do is a host and producer covering these teams. I try to get out to as many schools as possible. I'm trying to get out to just about every school at least once, or at least the ones that I can get to. I can get to. I was at North Carolina versus Charlotte, so I got to see both of those schools play this past Saturday. Later on this season, I'm going to try and get to a Duke game. I think when SMU is coming into town. NC State, when they play against Syracuse, I'm going to that game as well. But I really wanted to see ECU and App. I'm still trying to figure out if I can make a Wake Forest game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it work, especially when the Canes drop the puck at the Lenovo Center.
Yep.
Which, by the way, from yesterday, 1 month from yesterday, is the first game of the year, regular season.
Crazy.
Wild.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, I was like, I get a chance to see both ECU and App together, plus experience that culture, that game, just the environment, soak that all in. I can make that game. Going to that game. I don't know why I was so giddy. I have no affiliation with either of these schools.
Well, they're just so fun.
Well, they
really are good times.
I know people that have gone to both ECU and App.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some play-by-play on ESPN Plus at some ECU athletic events, mostly lacrosse. I've done some volleyball and soccer, but it's like that's my connection. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than just people that I know, I have no true personal connection to either of these schools.
Well, as someone,
but I'm jacked for this game. I'm probably abnormally for someone who has no affiliation. I'm pumped for this matchup.
As someone who went to App, it's probably better that you don't have like a direct affiliation, because then you can kind of enjoy
exactly.
it.
And I think that's
just
actually
soak up the fun.
And I think that's the fun thing here in this state, and this is actually something I encourage people to do, is that go just enjoy the environment of these matchups, of these games, and these contests. Just go enjoy it, even if you're. Like, for example, you might live down in Bowie's Creek or in that area. Go to a Campbell game and just enjoy the environment of college football or just college sports in general. Go enjoy it. If you're down in the Wilmington area, go to UNC Wilmington, sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
Go to their basketball games. You don't have to necessarily be a fan or a graduate, just to enjoy and support the local schools that are around you.
Yeah.
Go to Davidson if you're out in that area. Shout out to the Wildcats. Or if you live in Burlington, go check out Elon games, because, again, that's part of your community and part of your environment, and enjoy it. Enjoy it. That's, again, from where we're stationed here in Raleigh out to Greenville, 70 minutes, 75 minutes to get out there, maybe with traffic, because there's going to be a lot of people there. It might take an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yeah.
It's not that far. Literally, it's like 70-minute drive. Go enjoy that environment. Have fun. I know that State's at home this weekend at Carter Finley. They have a noon kickoff against Louisiana Tech. The atmosphere at NC State is through the roof. I know NC Central is traveling to UNC this weekend. I know a lot of people are going to be enjoying that. Duke is at home also at 6 o'clock. Duke and UNC both kicking off at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Go be part of these environments and go have fun. Enjoy these things. Soak it all in. Don't have to be a fan, quote unquote, of each school. You don't have to live and breathe with every third down. Just go enjoy it. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to this game so badly. It's just because of those reasons.
That's fun.
All right, I've spoken too much. We need to get to the wall of sound, Victoria.
The wall of sound is a function of
I've delayed
this
too much,
studio.
I should say.
There's no doubt about it.
Let's actually go to the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, Dave Canales. Something we kind of touched on a little bit a while ago, Victoria, was how Dave Canales, the head coach, all right, your first year as a head coach, you took it on the chin a few times, and then while you were down, they pulled you back up just to give you back on the chin a few times to the New Orleans Saints. You took your lumps in game number 1. Okay, how do you bounce back? Dave Canales answering on, hey, got to move on to the next week.
Yeah, it's a weekly thing, right? So whether you win or lose, you got to flush it. You got to move on. Here comes the next opponent. We happen to have the Chargers, a fantastic opponent that's going to test our toughness. They're going to test our play style. It's a version of football that I love, and I know Coach Harbaugh is going to have that mentality. So just like last week tested us in a lot of ways, we got another big one coming up. So the guys just have to have that mentality. When we come into the building, it's all about the preparation of the new opponent, and that takes care of it. We don't have have enough energy to be focusing on things in the past. We got to focus on today. And I thought the guys captured a good Wednesday.
Focus on the today, focus on the now, because that's the only thing that really matters is coming up. Because guess what? I take this from when I coached. I coached college lacrosse for 9 years. When a game was done, guess what? That game was done. You can't go replay it. You can't go change anything about it. You can learn from it, but you got to move on to the next game. Because if you keep dwelling on this past Sunday as a team, whether individual or as a group, if you keep dwelling on this past Sunday, the Saints are going to beat you again this coming Sunday because you're still thinking about it. You're still dwelling on it. And guess what? You're going to carry that with you this Sunday to Bank of America. That game just beat you twice because you're still thinking about that loss. That loss is done. So yeah, Canales is right. You got to move forward. Now, how you react in practice and prepare to get ready for the next game, well, that's different. What you learn to move forward to the next week, that's where Dave Canales is really going to be tested as a coach, as a head coach, as well as all of his position coaches, his coordinators are all going to be tested in that vein. But one thing that Dave Canales did talk about is that even though they were getting their butts handed to them on Sunday, the team didn't fold.
We're not going to quit. We're never going to quit. And that's what I challenged the guys, the players, and that's the character of this team. They didn't quit. We kept playing hard, kept hunting, kept trying the whole time. And so just learned about just connecting with the guys and being able to, on game day, to feel that the challenge of that day, the discipline to continue to go forward. And again, it just bleeds right over into the character of this team as we approach this week to bring that kind of mentality every day.
We've talked a lot about the culture that Dave Canales wants to establish in Carolina with the Panthers. And this is part of it. This is part of him establishing that culture. Hey, doesn't matter. You don't fold. You don't give in. You don't quit on each other. You don't quit on yourself. That's, again, part of culture. Now, if the results keep happening, how long does that last? But this is also a test where guys that were brought in, whether they were drafted or free agents, this is where you as Dave Canales and general manager Dan Morgan figure out, okay, even when things are bad, who's fully bought into our team? General managers, coaches, yes, they want to have the top talent. And yeah, you're sometimes with top talent, sometimes there comes bad apples in terms of selfish personalities or whatever it may be, divas, however you want to describe it. Sometimes that happens. Now, generally, if you are a lesser talented player and you have that mentality, you're gone real fast. Because, hey, you know what? You're not worth it. Bye. But this is where Dave Canales and throughout the season and Dan Morgan are going to figure out if when this team's taking their lumps this year, okay, who's still bought in? Who's still doing the right things? Who's still preparing the right way? Who is still invested in the team as opposed to just themselves? Those are the kind of guys that you want to have around if the talent matches up. But again, it's about establishing a culture this season, in my opinion. I said it before the year multiple times. I still thought it was a 5-6 win year for the Carolina Panthers. But that doesn't mean you can't change the culture and move that in the right direction. You still got to see progress both on the field in terms of production, but the culture of the team, I think, is what Dave Canales is establishing in year one as a head coach. I think that's probably his main focus, what he's trying to do. Obviously, tons of work with Bryce Young. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But him establishing a culture is the number one thing. I think when it comes to this team this year, let's hope this team doesn't fold in on itself. Because that would be crushing to the confidence of Dave Canales, in my opinion. Because if your team kind of folds, it means if you feel like as a coach, you failed them. Because you couldn't keep it together. You feel like you failed as a coach in that regard. That's not a fun feeling. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Speaking of the Panthers, Sunday at 1 o'clock, Bank of America Stadium. I will be there covering the game. And I'm going to give you 3 things to watch out for this Sunday as the Chargers come into the Bank of America Stadium.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
It is that time of year. And no, I'm not just talking about football season getting started. I'm talking about overreaction season. If you're through 1 week in the NFL, 2 weeks in college football, whatever it is, don't make any hard and fast opinions about your team because things can change. And oftentimes they do in week 3 or beyond.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
The new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Off's got a first-ever bonus game in the Outback.
You mean on the back, not Outback.
What's on the back?
The bonus game.
Then what's on the front?
Prizes up to $1 million.
I thought the game was called Bucks.
It is. Just forget it.
Crikey, mate. Don't go telling people to forget it. The whole point is for them to be remembering it.
The all-new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.81 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Did you know that most of your home's cold AC this summer leaked out through your old windows? Save money year-round with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends September 30th, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is the licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
One o'clock this Sunday, Bank of America Stadium. Chargers coming to town. Home opener for the Carolina Panthers. I know it might be some rain, might be a little wet, preventing some people from going. We'll just say that. That's the reason why. But you can get tickets, I think I saw online, Victoria, for like $22, $23.
I thought you were going to say cents. Okay.
No, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
Just wait for it. See,
I could buy this candy bar, or I can get a ticket to an NFL game and still have money left over.
exactly. See what David Tepper should do, like the story I did for the 7th inning with ZZ Top, the guy from Ohio who had the fan membership. He paid $100 and got to go to every ZZ Top concert for the rest of their whole career. That's what he needs to do this season. David Tepper needs to say, all right, $100, you can go to a Panther game for the rest of your life.
Well, I think these are also people that are just reselling their tickets, like on SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, those kinds of things. So it's third party, you know, as opposed to the team actually selling them at this point. But that just kind of goes to show you what you can actually get into Bank of America this Sunday. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold, Victoria producing the show. And speaking of this game Sunday, I got 3 things. 3 things for Chargers Panthers. Let's start up front offensively for the Carolina Panthers. Number 1, Ike Ekwonu, Taylor Moton, y'all going to get tested big time. You all are going to get tested big time. Because opposite of you, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. That's right. Just 2 of the best edge rushers in the NFL, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. We saw Khalil Mack throughout his career, whether he's been with now that obviously the Chargers, the Bears for a long time, Vegas. The guy continues to just produce year in and year out, and he's a threat. I understand that he's a little bit later in his career. He's 33 years old. Obviously, there's always going to be a little bit of a production slip. But let's be honest. The guy's a menace. The guy's a menace in the backfield. He's been durable in his career, by the way. Outside of the 1 year in Chicago where he only played 7 games, the guy plays. The guy plays. And even last year with the LA Chargers, the guy had 17 sacks last season. 17. That's impressive. That is impressive. He's been double-digit sacks. Now, again, he's not like what he was early in his career against when he was in Oakland, where we had 15 and 11 and 12 and a half, like those kinds of numbers. He's not quite that anymore. I mean, unless he is. We had 1.5 sacks last week, and again, he had 17 last season for the Chargers. The opposite of that, you got Joey Bosa. Ike Ekwonu struggled last year with pass protection a lot.
Big time.
Big
he completely regressed from when we saw him with
year 1.
Steve. Yeah.
We saw him year 1. And he even admitted himself that was his own doing.
Bad.
Now, against the Saints, the offensive line as a whole did much better. Let's be honest. It wasn't just the sacks that were given up wasn't because Ike Ekwonu was getting beat one-on-one. It was a blitz wasn't picked up by the running back properly. Bryce didn't shift the protection properly. Some guys were winning their one-on-ones, but it was just some pre-snap stuff that really actually did the Carolina Panthers in. But he's going to get tested. And then also on the other side, like I said, you got Joey Bosa, who just happens to be one of the highest paid players in the NFL at his position. I mean, I know Joey Bosa gets nicked up in his career, but you're still looking at a guy that, I don't know, puts up 10.5 sacks, 11 sacks. Now, again, he's been hurt, especially the last couple of years, but he's playing right now. And he and Khalil Mack combined for 2.5 sacks last week. So I don't know. You got that going for you.
Yeah.
Let's go to the other side of the ball. So that's a strength of the Chargers, right? Their edge rush.
Right.
Big question mark, at least especially with Ike Ekwonu. Questions on the offensive line for the Carolina Panthers. Flip that when it comes to the Chargers offensive line and the Panthers pass rush. The Chargers a few years ago drafted Rashawn Slater. This year they drafted Joe Alt. If I remember correctly, 6th overall or 5th overall. They drafted him out of Notre Dame as their right tackle, Slater being the left tackle. Bookend, great pass protectors, and maulers. Like, two of the... Joe Alt one of the best offensive linemen coming out of the draft, one of the highest rated guys coming in. Slater already plays at a Pro Bowl level. Panthers have Jadeveon Clowney, who's good. I know he had 9.5 sacks last season. But that's it. That's it. Can the Panthers actually get to the quarterback? Not necessarily have to bring the quarterback down, in this case Justin Herbert, but you got to put pressure on quarterbacks to make them throw off platform, as they like to say, where their feet aren't set. Make them move out of the pocket. Get in their face. Get pressure. Get a hand up on them. Make them uncomfortable. Derek Carr on Sunday, I know Eka Leota had the 1 sack. Really wasn't a whole lot otherwise on him. It was I think a total of 3 quarterback hits the entire game. That's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. So it's a strength for the Chargers going in, their tackles going against Jadeveon Clowney and a revolving door of guys. Whether it's DJ Johnson or Eka Leota. I'm drawing a blank here on the guy they just signed, free agent they just signed just a couple days ago, or yesterday. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
He's still new.
Yeah, exactly. He's an NFL vet. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on the guy that just signed. But you can't just expect a guy that you just signed off the street to just come in there oh yeah, let's get 2 sacks. I mean, unless you're going to do it.
I mean, it'd be cool if he did. I wouldn't hate it, but yeah.
I wouldn't hate it either. But
expectations.
That's again, it was a major question mark going into the year, especially with DJ Wanham and the injury that he's dealing with or still recovering from. The quad injury where he had surgery this offseason, still recovering from. The major question mark. And then also you don't have Derek Brown on your interior. So Derek Brown, at least in the run game especially, can command double teams. So might give yourself an opportunity for a one-on-one. You don't have to worry about that right now. That's something that you don't have to worry about if you are an opposing team. I know Jim Harbaugh wants to have the mentality of run the ball, play physical, be dominant up front. But if I'm playing the Panthers, knowing I don't have to worry about their pass rush too much, and there's no Derek Brown in the middle. I know A'Shawn Robinson is there, one of their big free agent signings, but I don't have to worry about the front. Why not just go 5 wide? Stress their secondary. Go 5 wide. You're not worried about a pass rush. And just play fast on them all day. Granted, the Saints also ran the ball against the Panthers defense. But that's fine. That's whatever. But nonetheless, speaking of running the ball, third thing.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers, run the dang ball.
Please.
Please.
It's what you said you were going to do.
Now, again, don't fall behind 17-0 with 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter and completely have to abandon your game plan. But go first play run, go second play run, and go third play run.
Yeah.
That's fine. And if you go 3 and out, at least you're trying to establish it. Run the ball.
I mean, Dave said that he was going to try to get back to what their foundation is, what we know. Okay, so let's not come out and pass the ball.
Well, and also, yeah, don't throw an interception. Here's the thing on that first play. I know, we're talking about, hey, run the ball. Deontay Johnson was open, and Bryce just missed it.
He did.
He just completely missed the throw.
One of many things for Bryce's bad day.
If he completes it, it's crossing route. Deontay Johnson's first play, I get a touch on the ball, I get a catch, we have a first down. And then, hey, all right, guys, let's go. We got a first down. Let's get another one. Nope. Sails it. Pick. And that any chance of, getting a rhythm, shot right there on one play. Done. And then you're just playing catch up. And then guess what you can't do? You can't, hey, let's establish our, our counters.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go off tackle left here, and then let's establish our counters, coming back on the right side if we have that in the third quarter to pick up some first. No, you can't do that when you're down 17.
They were such a hot mess. They were running into each other. Can we at least know where our guys are going to be so they're not also blocking us? Please. Yeah. That was 3A, 3B.
Anyway,
sorry.
Run the ball. Run the ball. you want to be about it, then be about it.
Yeah.
Then go do it. I mean, we don't know what Chuba Hubbard or Miles Sanders is going to be in this offense because, I mean, I remember Miles Sanders actually picked up a really strong carry on I remember there was a 3rd and 1. They were about to be in plus territory right around midfield. I want to say this was when they were down 10-0, I think, or maybe it was early second quarter. Miles Sanders gets a carry off the, off tackle on the right side, gets a first down, gets a really big gain. And Jatavian Sanders, their rookie tight end, gets called for holding. Brings the play back, so now it's 3rd and 11, and then Bryce gets sacked from a corner blitz. It's like, there it is. Microcosm of the day. There you go, 3 things. Ike Ekwonu and Taylor Moton, you're going to get tested. You got to hold your own in some way, shape, or form. Can the defensive front at least get a stalemate of some kind, not get pushed back by the Chargers offensive line, maybe get somewhat of pressure on Justin Herbert? And third thing, run the ball. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Coming up at 2:45, so here in about 18 minutes, we'll be joined by Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. He has some picks for us. Yeah. But on the other side, I'm going to touch a little bit on NC State coming up, but also conference realignment struck again. Conference realignment struck again. We'll get into that next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When it comes to health, we're all on our own journey. Our challenges aren't always visible to those around us. You may be living with aches and pains, fatigue, shortness of breath, or other symptoms that make it difficult to manage everyday life. These problems can be the result of a variety of conditions, including long COVID, which 1 in 5 adults who've had COVID-19 may develop, according to the CDC. When symptoms linger, they could lead to feelings of isolation, but you don't have to go through it alone. For challenges like these, physical therapy is the solution. Physical therapists are the licensed healthcare providers moving you to better health. They can improve your quality of life through hands-on care, patient education, and prescribed movement. No matter where you are on your health journey, your physical therapist and physical therapist assistant can help. When we work together, we feel better together. So choose more movement. Choose better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit ChoosePT.com to find a physical therapist near you or ask your primary care provider for a referral. This message is provided by the American Physical Therapy Association.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Childcare teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
Get full healthcare coverage at low cost, no monthly fees, and $4 max copays. NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies. Take a ride on the endangered species carousel and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, Our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? A word of encouragement to a coworker, or noticing when someone feels down or blue. You never know just how important a kind word at just the right time can be. Just caring or a big smile can make a difference. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind to everybody. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
So I know we've touched a lot on the Carolina Panthers, and well, we all know the drubbing that they took on Sunday. NC State on Saturday against Tennessee, 51-10, not good. But hey, you know what? One game, right? One game, one loss, you got to bounce back. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Looking at NC State ticket on Louisiana Tech this weekend, I hope that NC State head coach Dave Doran and that crew don't do the Florida State where like, you know what? We lost the one game. We have the get right. We have the get right coming up, much like Florida State did against Boston College. And then sure enough, Boston College goes down to Doak Campbell Stadium down there in Tallahassee and beats Florida State handedly. I hope they learn what Clemson did, or from what Clemson did with App, in terms of, hey, you took the beat down and you responded the next week the way you should have. We saw Clemson steamroll App after getting blown out by Georgia. NC State had the rough week one. Got a win against Western Carolina, but a rough week one to say the least. Go down to Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium. Took one on the chin multiple times. And then Tennessee picked you back up and gave it right back to you again. I think this sometimes can be a byproduct of, my opinion, in college sports, the way we have the transfer portal, where you get so many new pieces coming in, and also not just transfer portal, you have incoming freshmen, you get just a whole different crew, it feels like, every single year. There's a lack of consistency, I should say, a lack of continuity generally from year to year, unlike what we used to have in college sports. Not saying that's good or bad, it's just what is. The one downside when it comes to college sports, at least when it comes to college football, you don't get the live reps against other teams. You don't get the preseason games. You don't even get like you do in basketball. Like I know, for example, I think it's Johnson C. Smith in October, late October, is going to be doing an exhibition game in Chapel Hill against UNC at the Dean Dome. That's live reps that you get to have. Say, hey, you know what? We get a chance to kind of work some stuff out. Let's run some plays. Let's work on our press and do all these kinds of things. Just get a rhythm of playing with each other. Football, you don't get that, at least in college football. In the NFL, obviously, you get preseason games. I know in high school football here in the state of North Carolina, you get those scrimmage days, like the jamborees and all those kinds of things that you have. So you get a chance to get those live reps and work your way up to those things. Not saying it's an excuse that you don't have it. It's just what is. And Dave Doran actually talked about earlier this week in one of his press availabilities about chemistry, about live game reps, and about how important it is for these guys when you have a new quarterback like Grayson McCall, when you have one of your new wide receivers like Noah Rogers, when you have a new tight end, Justin Jolie, and some of the other guys that they brought in, Wesley Grimes at wide receiver, the other freshmen that they brought in, new starting center, a lot of new pieces. They need the live game reps together.
But I've been through this with Jacoby Brissett, been through this with Ryan Finley, been through this with a lot of transfer quarterbacks, and Brennan last year. And Sometimes it's seamless. Sometimes it takes a while. And the thing that is different about college football more than ever is there's a lot of new parts on these fields. And, you know, I think the guys from a chemistry standpoint off the field are really good. You're still trying to get that chemistry on the field in games, you know, and you can practice. Practice is still not the game. It's not. And the things that happen, you know, with the crowd noise, with the officiating and all the things that happen, game days are different. And so these guys are going to continue to grow and get better. And I think one thing we've done over time that people know, we're going to improve as this season goes on.
So, again, that's more specifically to Grayson McCall, the quarterback transfer coming up from Coastal Carolina, who's from the Charlotte area. He's a North Carolina guy. And just kind of his adjustment. I think maybe it might be for Grayson McCall. It's like he understands what he was brought up here to do, transferring in. His final year of eligibility. I'm sure he got a good chunk of change in terms of name, image, and likeness money to be here. He might be feeling that pressure a little bit. I would tell that young man, hey, look, just breathe. Like you could play, like you've played against group of 5 competition before, even at Coastal you did. Just breathe, buddy. You know how to do this. Just take a deep breath. You're going to be fine. But it might just take a few games. Now, the way NC State's schedule works out, Louisiana Tech this Saturday, noon kickoff at Carter Finley. Then you go on the road to Clemson. If you win these next 2, everything is laid out for them to make a run to the ACC championship game. That's just how it is. That's just a fact. It is. Everything is laid out for them to make that run. Will they? That's on them. That's on them to decide. Not saying they will, not saying they won't, but that path is there. The path is there. Yeah, you took your lumps against Tennessee, but you know what? You right the ship. If things progress the way they're supposed to, at least you plan and you hope. No reason why you can't be back at Bank of America Stadium in December. Heck, you make the CFP. Who cares if you lost to Tennessee? You're in the CFP. And then anything can happen once you get to a playoff.
They'll take it.
Sure they would. By the way, coming up here in about 6 minutes, we'll be joined here on the Adam Gold Show by Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. I know Victoria is excited to talk a little bit of MMA, some fights coming up this weekend.
UFC 306 is happening. It's a good one.
It's pretty good card.
Yeah, there's belts on the line. There's a trilogy. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, Shevchenko and Grasso. Shevchenko and Grasso. It's their third fight.
Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso.
Should be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Should be a good one. I'm actually a big fan of Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
He's the bantamweight champion at 135. He's defending his title against Dvalishvili.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a good one, too.
Oh, yeah.
That should be a banger of a fight.
This is going to be a good card.
Before we get to Lee Sterling, coming here in 6 minutes, real quick, I know we touched on it earlier, Victoria, but conference realignment has struck again. Conference realignment has struck again. For those who may not have heard, the news on this kind of broke overnight last night, and it was officially announced today that Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Colorado State, all 4 of those schools from the Mountain West, they're joining Oregon State and Washington State at the start of the 2026-2027 academic year to be part of the Pac-12. What? I thought the Pac-12 was dead.
I know.
I mean, it was left for dead, but guess what? There's life.
You know what? I know it's
like
spooky
the last
season.
Ronin over here.
It's almost going to be spooky season, so maybe that's like resurrecting some zombies.
I don't know. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Maybe they should announce it then.
Oh, yes.
They should have.
They should have. Wait, what a missed opportunity.
Come on.
They should have done it tomorrow. I know.
Good job, Pac-12. No wonder everyone left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dropping the ball like this, like you did your TV deal. Come on.
Exactly.
But the Pac-12, I thought they were done. I guess they're just poaching from the Mountain West. Now, here's something to keep in mind. They still need to add to their conference. They need to get up to 8 in order to be eligible to have a potential bid as a conference champion for like college football playoff, as well as when it comes to just conference tournaments in terms of automatic bids for the NCAA tournaments. You need to have if I remember correctly, it's 8 schools in your conference in order to get automatic bids. So, for example, if you have 8 schools in your conference and they all play volleyball, well, it's a chance to make the NCAA tournament in those sports. Same thing with sports like baseball, college basketball. You got to have a certain number of sports in order to qualify as an automatic or have an automatic qualifying bid. Anyway, so you need to get up to at least 8. Now, I'm sure they will probably want more than that because, well, more TV revenue, all those kinds of things, blah, blah, blah. But I thought the Pac-12 was done. I did a little research, Victoria. Back in July of 2021, so essentially 3 years ago, summer 2021, I remember being at ACC Football Media Days in Charlotte when the news broke that Oklahoma and Texas said, yeah, we know what? We're going to the SEC starting at the 2024 academic year. We're going to the SEC. That was announced 3 years ago. Since that announcement, so looking at 2022, 2023, and 2024, 32 schools that play FBS football, formerly known as 1A, have changed conferences. 32 of the roughly, 135? Now, I'm factoring in, for example, James Madison University moving up from the Colonial, was an FCS school, moving up to now in the Sun Belt. So they moved conferences and they moved up a division as well. I'm going to factor that in as well because it's now an FBS school. I'm going to factor that in. Conference USA has seen a bunch of schools leave and go to the American Athletic Conference, including Charlotte, so right here in the state of North Carolina, along with schools like Rice, North Texas, UAB, Texas San Antonio, a bunch of schools, Florida Atlantic. They all left Conference USA to go to the American. We saw Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss leave Conference USA to go to the Sun Belt. But then we also saw schools like Liberty, New Mexico State, Jacksonville State. They all moved to Conference USA. So there's been so much movement. That's 32 schools over the last 3 years. Now if you factor in 2025, Delaware leaving the CAA, going from FCS now to FBS in Conference USA. UMass going to the MAC. Missouri State also moving from FCS up to Conference USA. So those Delaware and Missouri State moving up to be FBS schools. I'm going to factor that in as well. And then these 4 Mountain West schools that are leaving, you're looking at over a 5-year stretch of 39 schools. 39 schools have about roughly 135. 40 of 135 schools have changed conferences over a 5-year stretch. That includes from 2022 through 2027 or 2026. Like that 5-year stretch. That blows my mind. Blows my mind. And that's all since the time that Texas and Oklahoma announced in July of 2021 that they were moving to the SEC. Since then, that's been the domino effect in college sports. 39, about 135. That's just about 1 of every 3 schools. That's nearly a third. That's crazy. To quote Adam Gold, Victoria, what are we doing? I feel like that's like Adam Gold's favorite saying.
Yeah, he likes it.
It is what it is. These schools aren't going just, hey, you know what, guys, let's just go back to the Pac-12. Hey, you know what, we're just going to go back to the Big 12 or whatever it is. That stuff's not happening. It's not. But that's where we are in college sports nowadays. By the way, I did find it funny that it's Colorado State, that it's San Diego State, that's Boise State, that it is also Fresno State joining Oregon State and Washington State. Like it's all the quote-unquote state schools that are joining it. Not to disparage state schools, the quote-unquote state schools. I just found it funny, like how like all are whatever state. You know, I was actually thinking about this the other day, about how in most states, like their major university is like, for example, like the University of Nebraska. Like, no one's like, yeah, Nebraska State. Now, there's some states for example, like there's Michigan State, very big national prominent programs. North Carolina State, very big known national programs. Very rare that the state school is the bigger of the two. Ohio State, bigger than University of Ohio. Just what it is. Penn State, bigger than University of Pennsylvania. Granted, like Pennsylvania's an Ivy League school, but nonetheless, usually it's not usually what the state school is, the quote-unquote big school. Joining us now here on the Adam Gold Show, as he does every Thursday at 2:45, Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. All right, Lee, I have a quick question. I believe 3-2 last week on your picks?
Yep, 3-2.
Let's go. I like this. I like
We're going to
winning.
go over the games, obviously, that your listeners care about most, too. So,
well, let's dive right into it. I know I know one of the games you're looking at is this coming Saturday, Duke at home against UConn. I believe a pretty heavy favorite.
yeah, I mean, it's up to like 18.5, 19 points now. And
wow.
I don't get it. I mean, Duke is not a scorer. UConn, I think they've got some weapons on offense to score 14, 17 points. One of the main things I learned growing up as a handicapper, do not lay double digits when your offense is not capable. And I don't think they're there yet. I think it's going to take them at least 2-3 more games here. So let's take the points. I think Duke wins 34-20, but 17 too much.
Okay, too much, especially when I know Duke's dealing with some injury with their running back with Jaquez Moore, so they struggle to run the ball as is. But another game taking place here, talk about double-digit points, nearly 3 touchdowns. NC State at home against Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech is a team in turmoil. I mean, they used to get some talent here, and lost their quarterback. He went in the portal. He went away. I just don't see where this team is going. So they're kind of lost, and they also only had 16 sacks as a team last year. You got to get more pressure on the quarterback. Playing 2 quarterbacks here. North Carolina State, they're going to get that bad taste out of their mouth. I like them big here, 51-10.
Oh, 51-10, just like the score they lost to Tennessee, 51-10.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sure State fans will be happy to see that for sure. I know you have a few NFL games that are coming up here this weekend as well. I know there's a big national brand out there, Dallas Cowboys, the star of the helmet. They have a big conference matchup against New Orleans.
Yeah, 2 teams that look great first week. Jerry Jones finally, down to the wire, makes a decision. He shells out some big money to Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb here. Problem here for New Orleans is they look better. Doesn't look, I would say it's doubtful that Marshawn Lattimore is going to play at cornerback. He's got a hamstring injury. Even if you're 80-90%, you can't cover CeeDee Lamb with a hamstring injury. So I think they're going to have him sit out here. Derek Carr is effective against poor teams. When he's pressured, look out. Dallas, lay it 30-20.
Okay. Another big conference matchup in the NFC. This might be the best matchup this coming Sunday, or one of the best ones. Detroit Lions taking on the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yep. So Tampa Bay looked good last week, and you have a quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Looks like he feels comfortable in this offense, but people forget that the Lions beat the Bucs twice last season. The first time 20-6. The key is get the ball to Jamar Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs is a home run hitter. He can catch a ball, run a ball, make someone miss, and it's 28 to the gate. Nate here, Detroit, look out. 31-20.
All right, 31-20 Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's got a machine going on this year. By the way, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I know folks here in the state of North Carolina not very happy about what the Carolina Panthers did against the New Orleans Saints. They welcomed the L.A. Chargers into town at Bank of America this Sunday.
Yeah, and what are we going to get from Jim Harbaugh's team? They like to run the football.
They do.
Ground and pound, and they did it at Michigan. He did it last week. He knows he doesn't have the receivers yet, so likes to have a lot of high percentage passes, and that's what they're doing right now to the tight ends underneath, a lot of crossing routes, and then they'll build eventually and add some receivers and some playmakers. Chargers have racked up just a single sack last week, but they have the horses that can get some real pressure to disrupt pretty much any quarterback, let alone an unproven guy like Young. even with a trip cross country, I think this LA team's going to be ready to go. Chargers 27-17.
Okay, 27-17. I know Panthers fans really aren't going to like that. Do you have any other NFL games that we should be on the lookout for here, Lee?
If they want to get the free game, it's going to be, how about this, Georgia and Kentucky first.
Okay.
5 callers. Call 800-400-9741. We'll give them the game for free. 800-400-9741. We're going to go, Victoria and I are going to match up. We're each going to give our best UFC selection.
Okay, I would love to hear this.
She is supposedly very respected and studies it.
Yeah, I do. I did my homework.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley in the feature fight.
Perfect.
In the Sphere. So Sean O'Malley is -135 to -140. I think he's by far, it's not even close, the much better striker. If this game is, and this fight is fought where guys are standing up, it's going to be over by the second or third round. The only way Merab has a chance here is he's got to grapple, and he's got to put Sean O'Malley to the ground. But people, I think, underestimate the grappling of Sean O'Malley and his defense as far as that is concerned. So, you know, he has really grown up in the last couple of years. The only fight he lost, you know, he went for a kick early in a fight and it was over. But I think, you know, I saw him in person here at UFC 299 in Miami. He looked fabulous and got some crazy outfits too. So I'm going to lay the 135, 140 and take Sean O'Malley to defend his title. What do you have?
You are thinking the exact same thing. The only thing Merab has is if he takes it to the mat. That's the only way he's winning this. He's not winning it on the feet or by decision either, because we know those judges will always pick Sean O'Malley. So the co-main event is a trilogy. I love a trilogy time. So Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko, these ladies are no strangers to each other, and their last meetup was actually a split, a draw, and you know we hate that in UFC. No one likes a draw in the UFC. So they are matching back up again. I kind of like Valentina in this one, even though Alexa is great. She's on a 5-fight win streak, but she likes to let it go to decision. I don't think Valentina is going to let her do that. Also, Valentina, she likes to knock her opponents out. So I can see her coming out hot and heavy, wanting to, end this on the feet. But she's really good on the mat, too. She is well-rounded. Valentina Shevchenko is well-rounded in all routes. So I can see her being equipped and ready to go however Alexa wants to take this. She wants that belt, I can tell. And also, Alexa just won the tough season, too. So Valentina's got more behind her to really let this go. So I'm taking Valentina. Right now, the spread is about Grasso. She is -140, and Valentina is +110. So I'm going to go with that one. I think she's going to come out hot. So we'll see.
All right. Well, like I said, anyone wants to get in touch with me, we are 15-8 on the season.
Nice.
In the football. You can go to ParamountSports.com. We actually have a Thursday night thriller tonight between Buffalo and Miami.
Oh, nice.
And that is just $10. I mean, we rarely have ever done this before, but I like the game so much. And I know people sometimes aren't ready, to sign up for the month or the season. So $10, winner on the Buffalo-Miami game tonight. Huge game, huge implications. Came down to the last game last year. So you want to find out who wins this game. It's a instant download. As soon as you purchase it, a window pops up with the game, so you don't have to call back later. You're ready to go. And I know if I win for you, you're going to want to come back and sign up for the month or the season. So ParamountSports.com, Thursday night thriller, Buffalo and Miami, ParamountSports.com, or call 800-400-9741.
Also follow them on X at Paramount Sports. Lee Sterling, thanks for your time. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun, Lee.
All right, sure was. Take care. Have a great weekend.
By the way, I like his pick with Sean O'Malley winning that one. Like I'm 100% in on that one as well. But yeah, the Shevchenko, the split decision draw is not something you see very often.
No.
In combat sports, where literally one judge picked like Shevchenko to win, one judge had Grasso win, and the other one had it as a draw.
Right.
Literally to split decision draw. Very rarely happens.
Yeah. Only in soccer, but not really so much in MMA. Fighting.
This has been the Adam Gold Show. If you missed any of the show, again, go check it out on the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast. Adam will be back tomorrow. Victoria, thank you, and thank you for listening. Till next time, I bid you adieu. Goodbye. Good night.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they are giving you a chance to win big tonight with FanDuel Squares. The same Super Bowl Squares game you've always known, only this is better. That's because your numbers aren't just randomly assigned. You get to pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like. You'll get to see the odds beforehand. You can bet them live during the game. What are you waiting